Howdy folks, welcome to Mosaic Team 5, our original Starfinder campaign. I am Joe Treff, your Game Master this evening and joining me are my friends Matt, Dan, Kara, Olive, and Ari. We are going to play a little Starfinder tonight. Hello Talon. Hi John. We're going to play a little Starfinder tonight, but before we do, a couple of quick announcements. There are two ways that you can support the channel, through bits and channel points. Channel points you get for free. Those you can use to affect the story in small ways. And then the bits are Twitch's microcurrency, and they very directly support the stream. It's very appreciated, and those can impact the story immediately in much larger ways. We also have Instagram, @AlberonRPG. It's also the name of our YouTube, where these sessions are re-aired on Sunday and then kept forever. We are going to be playing D&D tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is our original D&D campaign, Courts of Everest, where we are in the midst of a masquerade ball. And
it was dope to listen to.
Yeah. And then in the month of July, or actually I guess the last week of July, first week of August, we are going to be away for summer break. And in that time, on Thursday the first week and Friday the second week, we're going to be airing special one-shots, one in the D&D universe of Alberon, and then one in the Starfinder universe of Mosaic Team 5. We're going to be revisiting some old characters in the Starfinder one, in a one-shot that is called The Influencers. And then for D&D, we're going to be playing something that is very summer-oriented called Camp Bright Cove. I'm very excited for that. But those things are coming in July and August. And then, finally, for the smooth jazz that you hear behind you, along with many of the other sound effects that we have, like this automatic gunfire, we use Sirenscape, which is a digital tool set that you could use. You like that?
No.
I
need the fart. I want the fart one.
You want the fart one? You can also have sound effects like that. Many different sound effects available with Sirenscape, a digital tool set that you can use to put sound effects into your life. And with that, I can get into our recap.
Smooth jazz.
To less smooth jazz. Still pretty smooth. Faster jazz. Mosaic Team 5. Last we played, Echo, you toured the rest of Canosa Station at a leisurely pace, revisiting several sites. With some help from Gibbs and the mass spectrometer, you did find traces of magic, and theorized that it was likely Tombstone or a member of their party. Bubbles, you had an episode that brought you back into a memory triggered by the words that Gibbs had spoken. And as you sank back into that space, you reflected on some of the things that Gibbs said, maybe a little bit more true than you care to admit. Echo, you returned to the ship, and after a brief discussion with several interruptions, Shade, you decided that the team would travel towards Siren 308A, and in doing so, towards Tombstone and Gibbs's cousin, Crumbs.
Yay!
You navigated the gravity rings of the J-Lane very successfully, and you arrived at a sprawling asteroid, and with Gibbs's help, saw that Crumbs was somewhere within its interior. Bubs, you shot out the ice, freeing Gravedigger, this ship that belonged to Tombstone, into the void. Skillfully, Shade, you booped the other ship back into the landing bay, where it overturned into the space as the grav field took hold. And as the crew considered their options, as they tried to plan out a safe way of approaching this, Echo, you stepped into the airlock, closed the door between you and Gibbs, and allow the depressurization to shoot you across the 50 or so feet of pure void that is space, and into the hangar bay. Echo, as you landed, you seemed to awaken elements of metal next to the Gravedigger, and as the lights and ruins of this arcane construct blaze to life, and a 12-foot tall bronze creature looms over you with a massive hammer, that is where we begin this evening. Just 1 moment.
Oh, I should probably look at my spells.
Yeah.
Please.
We get ready for combat, everybody.
This is karma for not listening.
Not listening for what?
Didn't want you all to be hurt.
I literally was like, that's gonna be a bad time.
As you were doing it, I was like, yeah, that's it's gonna be an interesting thing.
Good thing you're fast.
What was that for?
What does that mean?
Yeah, What? This is not good when the DMs.
I just no. I just thought that was a funny way of saying it. So let me pull up our combat cam. You can see the battlefield actually pretty well on this, but if you want to see it even closer, at @AlberonRPG on Instagram. All right, let me pull up a little bit of music here. Echo. As you turn and look up, you can hear the metal creak as it rises up. This is a 12-foot tall arcane construct of some kind. And as it turns over to you, you can see the eyes, this sort of orange color, and there is this loud kind of sound. And it isn't electronic, it isn't data, this is magic, and you can feel it roll across you. Are you doing anything at this time?
Back to ship.
Okay, go ahead and roll for initiative. You're going to try to dash away.
Can I roll?
Everybody go ahead and roll for initiative. Now, for what it's worth, aside from Gibbs, everybody is in the cockpit, which puts you about 80 feet away from the airlock.
Oof.
The airlock is just finished depressurizing, and so if Gibbs is to step in and leave, you guys will need to wait 1 minute to go through.
Still functioning?
Say again?
Is the ship still on and functioning?
Your ship? Yeah,
So, can we still maneuver it?
absolutely.
Can you say one more? Maybe you already said this. So it's our ship is in a hole in the ice.
Your ship isn't in the hole. You're about 50 feet away from it. Echo opened the airlock, and with the air depressurizing out, just fired herself across, or
Through
herself
the
across.
hole in the ice.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. And between in the ice,
crab.
there's still that like bullshit that's really explosive, bombs or whatever.
So you see those little red-tipped caps right there? That is what's blocking the other side. The part right next in front of that ship, that has been cleared away. And where all of you guys are actually the other side of the battlefield.
Which is where our minis are?
Yeah, and so you guys are actually...
So the ship is over here?
Yeah.
No. The ship is actually... So I put the minis on the wrong side. That's my fault.
So the ship is over there?
Correct. Those those 3 tiles are going into this
Okay,
asteroid.
that's going
Yeah,
into
yeah.
the building.
So if you wish to go further, that is where you're going.
I'm missing one phone.
My fault. One who? That's Echo. That's Echo.
Danger.
All right. Echo, what'd you roll?
Me?
Yeah.
Rolled a 9.
Oh, 9 total?
Good thing you're fast.
Nice.
Give me just one moment. So, anybody with a natural 20? Okay. Anybody 25 to 20?
23.
23.
For spice.
15.
16. Nice.
Oh, that just threw me
Yeah.
off. Okay, hang on one second. You guys just start throwing down names
Yeah, I
and
know. I
numbers.
like your listy order thing.
Okay, Bubs, what was yours?
15.
15. Okay, and then yours?
Gibbs is 16.
Okay, so Gibbs is at 16, Bubs is at 15. Easy peasy.
Do we see this thing?
No.
I do though.
Yes,
Because I was
yes,
like,
you certainly
that's fucked up.
Are you outside the airlock now?
No, I'm in the.
Okay.
I'm
So
on the glass in the airlock.
we're
Yeah.
here. We're all in,
There.
Yeah.
in
In the cockpit.
and
So imagine
that's
it's like
all
a
there.
glass
Yeah.
window that you
And
can
I'm
see out.
smushed up against it because I was trying to scramble through, but wasn't fast enough.
So the way that this shakes out, we have Shade starting us off, followed by Spice, followed by Gibbs, followed by this entity, followed by Bubs, and followed by Echo. And so the way that this is going to work, because this is kind of happening and the rest of you are relatively unaware of this at this moment, we're going to start with Gibbs. And then we'll move down and then pop back up to Shade and Spice. So Gibbs.
Gibbs starts to scramble at the button pressing, but realizes she has to kind of wait. So instead, while that's like, I don't know, clean air, I don't know what the fuck the airlock does, but whatever it's doing while I'm not able to use it, Gibbs is gonna press her nose against the door so her breath makes like a little cloud, and just take her claw and draw like a little sad face in it, and then just like, and it's going to materialize on the other side of the glass, and within I can hit it. I send out a spirit to perch itself kind of behind Echo, and it takes the form of this like really old, like crotchety Yosoki behind you, but definitely like with a ghostly body. And any enemy that starts its turn within 30 feet of this spirit has to make a will saving throw.
Okay.
Cool
very
new
nice.
spell.
And that's friend or foe?
No enemies.
Very nice. Okay, cool.
It's expensive, but it's enemies.
Very, very cool. So all of a sudden, Echo, you feel behind you this as reality shudders and something occurs. But we'll get back to that. Anything else, Gibbs?
Enemies. Yes, and it's 30 feet, and it's got a radius too.
Yeah.
Okay.
No worries. All right, Gibbs, that is your turn. That brings us to this creature. So Echo, as you begin to turn,
It needs to make a will saving throw because it starts its turn, and it's a second.
as a natural 20. So that is going to...
Shit.
However, fair enough, it turns. And as you begin to move and all of these like micro motions that inform this entity that you are about to try to turn and run, it lurches forwards and it's going to backhand swing the hammer as it was like propping itself up with it. It almost shrieks forwards and you can hear the metal across the metal as it swoops. That is going to be a 39 to hit.
Ow!
Oh dear.
And that is going to be
Only you can take.
ooh.
Only you. I have shit armor.
Go ahead and
Think of
that
something
is going
else
to
that
be
can, too.
31 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ow!
And you feel as this slams into you, and that kind of begins your momentum for this run. You're almost propelled past this creepy Yosoki form, such that your body gets put almost so that it overlaps you for just a moment. You can see like this spectral image before you stumble back forwards. You would imagine this creature could certainly knock you down if it hit you hard enough. But it like swings the hammer back up, and you can feel it's getting ready to pull this back down again. That is going to be its turn to start us off with. We're going to go now to Bubs, followed by Echo.
I think I'm after.
No, because we started with Gibbs.
Yeah, we started with
That
Gibbs.
was the like start of this. So.
So it's Gibbs, then that creature, then you, then Echo, then we're going to the stop of the round. Yeah.
I don't think Bub is aware that Echo. Yeah, I don't
No.
think Bub is aware. Yeah.
Well, I should have said something.
Yeah.
I didn't.
You can pass your turn. And it's really you just kind of like being there, like waiting for something to happen. And yeah.
I think I was next to Gibbs.
Yep.
Because I was guarding the door.
Mhm.
So I think I'm just gonna continue being there, and I had my suit on previously.
Yep. All of you have your suits on that need them.
So I think I'm just going to just get ready to take an action to do something productive.
Okay.
Whatever that is.
Cool. So holding your act, you're holding your turn, hopefully to be productive. That is Bub's Echo. So this creature slams into you, and as this momentum propels your body forward, what would you like to do?
Echo's gonna use their full action to withdraw.
Okay. Fantastic. So remind me again, when you take your full action to withdraw, that's 5 feet of movement, correct? Okay.
When you withdraw, you can move up to double your speed.
Fantastic.
That's
That's gonna be mad fast for you.
Wait, so are you coming back to the ship?
Yep. Echo's gonna turn around and just kind of like shrink down a little bit, make themselves as small as they possibly can, and zoom back towards the airlock and around towards like try and get towards the guns.
Okay, so you want to move towards like...
Basically underneath the ship to the guns.
Okay.
Just to get to the other side of the ship.
I see what you're trying to do. So
Covering fire.
give
I'm
me
so
one
sorry.
second. Give me 1 second here. So you are doing withdraw.
Yes.
Withdraw is a full action.
Mm-hmm.
You can move double your speed. The square you start on is not considered threatened by an opponent you can see. However,
So you can take.
Unseen enemies still get attacks of
that
opportunity.
is true. That is not what I'm talking about. So, the square that you start out in is not considered threatened. However, this creature does have a 10-foot reach, and so that is still going to provoke an attack of opportunity.
Don't die.
The square that you are leaving is not threatened. And so for a 5-foot creature, for a creature with regular reach, that would absolutely be effective.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That text is so specific.
And that is going to be a natural 20.
No! God damn, worst time.
That's 2 natural 20s for those keeping count.
This is
like the 2 first rolls of the
significantly
game.
less bad, though. That will actually still would be the same amount of damage.
So, Echo faints.
That is 38 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm just checking my
Yeah.
sheets.
Still Jimmy 12 toasted.
38 points of bludgeoning. I'll put that on hold. That, however, would be its reaction. And if you are still up, Echo, anything else?
I'm still up.
Okay.
Are you bleeding?
It's reflex. Yes.
It's almost 70 damage.
I don't know you
That's
guys.
true. That's fair. That's fair.
I think the only person that wouldn't be is Bubbles.
Okay. My feats are all for things that
Okay. No
require
worries.
rolls.
So as you rush away, as this creature's hammer reaches the top of the arc, you see runes all along this construct's arms glow, and this incredible amount of momentum, almost impossibly quickly, stops and slams back down. And this almost completely knocks you over, but you still manage to skit away, and then that puts you, you're moving underneath the weapons?
Basically, I'm going, because the airlock is closest to this side, I'm going underneath the ship to get towards the guns.
Okay.
Because I can't get in the airlock right now. Basically, I'm just looking for big thing to cover.
Sure, no problem. So you dash, and as you get right to the edge, you leap, and you feel the gravity begin to take your body as you pierce through the exterior of this hangar bay mag door, and all of a sudden, it's like you stop falling and you continue, and with, I would say, make an acrobatics check.
Yay! That's 32.
So with that quick shift in momentum, you recognize that if you just let yourself drift, you are going to sink down and away from the ship, and there is nothing but the void of space and sirens just screaming fields around you. And so with the very tips of your fingers, you scrape along the hull before you grab onto purchase of something, just some little handhold or some element that allows you to pull yourself back up, and then you have to kind of like mash and then partially glide your way along, but you go. No problem. You are in space. Echo in space.
And Echo uses a free action to just like ping the comms, and it's like, I have made an error.
It's like staticky. It's it's not sounding great.
I have triggered the trap.
That is your turn, Echo?
Yep.
Fantastic. That brings us to the top of the order. Shade, this communication cuts across.
What are we dealing with?
A very large mechanical magical thing. I am unaware of its origin, but it was from Tombstone's ship. Therefore, it can be assumed that it is mystical.
And this is all set at about twice speed.
Kerrigan, not that fast.
All right. Free action. I'm going to say over the comms, everyone hold on. Whoever's closest to the guns, get on them. And then barrel roll so that
Make a reflex
the
saving throw.
guns are on the other side and we can get a clear
Would that
position
trigger
to
Bubs
shoot
do
this thing.
something productive? Because that's an order from Shade.
Yeah, no problem.
You go man the
Get to
guns.
the
23.
guns.
Technically, you're on the next round, so you don't need to go and do that. But we'll say that like you were basically there anyway, so no problem. It was a 23. So all of a sudden, as you feel all of this happen, and you but you sense the thrusters begin to kick on, you latch yourself onto the ship as tightly as you can. And thankfully, as you are in space, the momentum does not fling you off because Shay just turns the ship over.
Oh no, oh no, oh no,
And
oh
there
no.
is little elements of debris that ting, 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 ting off your android form, but no problem. You stay attached to the ship for the time being as Shay completely turns it end over end.
And then bonus action, I'm going to use my exocortex to target lock.
Okay.
So does it target lock on that with the
What is
ship's
our range
sensors?
after your barrel roll?
The range?
the
Yeah, how
guns.
far away are
I mean,
we
it's a
from...
starship.
The guns are about 50
More
feet
like
away now if
here.
they've flopped over. Yeah.
Just, because I have 60 feet of range for some of my stuff, so as long as I'm within 60
Oh, yeah.
feet.
So target lock. What does target lock do?
Target lock gives a bonus. It's the ship combat.
It's against
target lock,
starships, right?
so I guess it's against targets.
In the asteroid and next to an actual starship, the lock doesn't seem to really be able to grab on in the way that you would hope.
Okay. Then I'm just gonna.
I like
do
the idea,
Just
but-
gonna do the maneuver.
Okay, no problem. So you do the maneuver. That is your turn, Shade. That brings us to you, Spice. Spice, as the ship lurches end over end,
I would also like to point out, I'm trying to get it in a position that avoids hitting those, but very easily hits the target.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you know, there's only so many places that you can go,
Yeah.
but as much as you can, you put yourself at a straight angle that way. Spice, what do you want to do?
As the ship is barrel rolling, she's gonna go, whoa! And then see out of the windows that Echo is out there floating in space. And
You see Echo's
Mildly.
body like up and then poof into like the actual ship as like Echo is just barely holding on as Shade. It's not like Shade's pulling incredible G's, but flying the entire ship end over end does do that.
she's going to call out, she's gonna go, Director, prepare to receive Echo! We need to get on the ship! Them on the ship! And then, I guess, hold her action until... Or to see if the arcane monstrosity follows us.
No problem. Free action, Gibbs. You hear. Well, actually,
What?
What do I hear?
nothing
Why did the DM
because
just take a roll?
the director's coming into initiative and they're coming in real low apparently.
Oh.
But that's all right. So you issue that command. No problem. Anything else,
Gonna do a
Spice?
systems
Nope,
check.
just holding an
Okay.
action.
No problem. Gibbs, what would you like to do?
I see Echo take the damage, but because she was more than 30 feet away from me, I cannot lifelink or heal her. So, I press the button for the door. Does it open?
It does not.
Then I scramble. Can I go to that door? Can I go to the like, which is now on top of the ship because the ship's upside down?
Yeah, I mean, you certainly can.
So, what's the problem with this?
I mean some people like oxygen. in their ships.
But we're all the people who need oxygen are wearing suits. So I press the door for that one.
Not all the
Yeah.
stuff that's
This
not
is why
bolted
Bubs
down.
always wears seatbelts.
No,
Suddenly, all the lights just go red, and you open up the door. And as it cracks open, the drift mystery instantly sucked and then cracks and shatters as it's yanked through. All the gifts.
No!
The
What I would say
garden
is-
was
What
in
about-
the armory.
Okay, where was the
each of
Alexa
the-
unit?
So each of the bulkhead doors does shut as this happens, and so automatically, as you shut this and you vent things out, nothing in the exterior rooms are lost. But
Okay.
the drift mystery is, your
the
couch
couch?
is.
I love to sit there.
This isn't right because
That is
that's
not. That's
bolted
anchored
in.
to the ground, and that would be your cryo chamber.
Cool.
But
So
that's a
then,
fall.
Pressure breach!
None of that hits Echo, right?
No.
You get him
So-
a really soft pillow.
I'm now on the top of the ship.
Driftmas is officially over.
So just like
tree is on
gonna
the ground.
use, just gonna. Like, I don't really have that much movement, but I'm just
Yeah.
gonna kind of swing out of it so I can have can I have line of sight from where I am to there?
From where you are,
Like if I'm on top of the door.
if you're on top of the door, yeah, you have line of sight.
Cool.
It's tough. It's really it's like an angle that you are looking through the ramp and like the pistons that like lower the ramp as well. You barely can see. But
Guys,
yeah,
you're making me like blow all my spells right now.
what are you doing?
I'm gonna because I can see him now. I will he needs to make a will saving throw as I pull out just like snot out of my nose and make a whip of it, but it doesn't work real well because I'm wearing a fishbowl on my head, so I just fill my fishbowl with snot.
That is a 14.
Oh, he fails.
Okay.
So he has he's sad about his self-esteem. So he feels bad about himself, and he also still has this guy yelling who started to just say things like, "Eat your vegetables, do your schoolwork." You work that outside of the house?
That is wonderful.
My status sheet just says feels bad.
Yeah, so he's got a bunch of -2 penalty to intelligence, wisdom, charisma-based checks. It's spell save DC and will saving throws, and he is staggered for the duration.
Very nice.
So he's
Can you
staggered
stagger him,
for.
please?
He's just gonna get a bunch of bullshit.
I don't have a stagger
No, I
one
got
ready yet.
I've got 2 Gibbs ones on him.
You haven't
we go.
custom made us our rings yet.
I'm
Karen?
sorry.
So he can only take a single move or standard action each round. Can't take reactions, but can take swift actions as normal. And the duration is 7 rounds.
Very nice.
'Cause it's per
Damn,
round per
okay,
level.
Okay. So let me go ahead and just throw up a counter too. That is
Thanks.
really nice. Very well done, Gibbs. So Gibbs, all of a sudden, this little Yosoki form, this shriveled old spectral Yosoki, seems to get a little stronger, and they gasp in this like shuddering breath, and they begin to shout. And despite the fact that this construct has no idea what this Yosoki is saying, doesn't speak common, it still weirdly, this inanimate like creature is kind of like, you hear like the shoulders just kind of, and it kind of goes down a little bit, and these like the lights dim a little. Hard to tell, but maybe it feels bad about itself.
And then because it now starts its turn, I need another will saving throw for the Yosoki itself. Because I ego whipped it on my turn,
Okay.
so I could better improve the odds of this school spirit helping me.
So that is the end of your turn?
Yes, my turn
Fantastic.
ends. Yeah, the spell is school spirit.
So as they begin their turn, that is a will save, you said?
Yeah.
12.
So that fails. It is staggered forever.
Is that a real?
Oh, damn.
Where's my spell?
Hallelujah.
Hold on, where is school spirit? It's a level 2 spell.
Duration forever.
Pazzo, I don't know about that.
Oh, why do I not have it on my
Paizo
sheet?
says too bad.
It's Paizo coming.
And so they're staggered, you said?
I don't know where my phone
They're
went.
staggered.
Oh,
Do
here it
you
is.
want my help?
No. Yeah, I need the spell school spirit.
Okay.
Okay.
So at this point, they can only take a move or standard action. Or they can
Oh,
only
it's
take
shaken. So now it's shaken as
Shake.
well.
Stag.
For 1 minute.
So
Basically
right
for-
now, it is taking -4 penalties to like all of its saves, most of its checks, quite a few other things. And Gibbs, this is really manifested by your arcane trash juice oozing now from this Yosoki and getting into the joints, and this kind of gross mucus clings on and begins to gunk up the metal, and almost instantly you can see elements begin to like tarnish. It's like it's aging in place.
Yeah, so it's got negatives to most things now.
Very nice. Anything else, Gibbs? No, that was the end of your turn.
End of my turn, start of
So,
his turn.
Start of his turn, he makes a save. Or we just did that.
Yeah.
So now it's his turn, and he can do one thing. He's
One
got
standard
one
action.
thing that he could do. So what he is going to do
Bad.
is he is going to take his full speed.
Oh, that's.
Wait, can he take a full? He can't take a full action, right?
He can only take a standard action or a single move action.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang. Dang.
Hey.
Dang. Dang. Okay.
I can debuff like a boss.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. Okay, then I think the only thing that it can reasonably do is it's going to take the hammer and attempt to golf this starship into your starship.
Oh shit.
What?
Can't really move otherwise.
With all the negatives?
Yeah, with all the
It can
negatives.
do, yeah, it can do it.
So
It can do one thing.
as a hit, or so. Give me 1 second.
He's
Here.
also
This is
trying to hit a
little math.
ship, you know, it's not like that's a
Yeah.
high AC of a ship.
So it
Yeah,
rolls a
so-
total of 36 minus.
Or
Also depends
What's
on
the
weather
ship's
and the
hardness?
Okay, so
It's density.
this ship just ends over ends and slams into the docking bay, or not the docking bay, sorry, the hatch. And Gibbs, from where you are and from where you were like seeing it before, if you were still standing there, the entire element of like metal would have crunched in and just hit you right in the face. So good thing that you moved.
Yeah.
That is like, yeah, that slams into the ship and like chromes off. However, it can't really do anything else. And so that is its turn. That brings us
Do
to
we see where it goes?
what,
Is
the
it
starship?
Yeah, is it going?
Yeah, it's just
away?
out into space. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
there goes Tombstone's diary.
Yeah. So
oh no! We
That
were sorry to
is-
say that.
that is its turn. That brings us to you, Bubs.
Bubs is going to get in the chair, fasten his seatbelt. He probably had it off. Already. And he's gonna briefly touch the glass and say, "Today's gonna be your day, Bubby."
Why'd you set yourself up for that?
What do you mean?
For today not to be your
That's
day.
what Bubs does.
Yeah, he always does. And I'm going to do.
Okay, that's fair.
I have to go over to Starship Combat, which I made it for. Sorry,
It's like your dex plus your
I have it. It's
gunnery skills. +3 for the
Do you have
starship stuff.
sorry.
I can. Once you say it out loud, I'm gonna write it down.
What did you roll?
It's 13 plus 7 plus 4, so it's
Plus the starship bonuses.
17 plus 7,
24.
24,
plus starship bonus plus captain and crew bonus minus range, which isn't important. We're close enough. Is there any starship bonus? So 24.
27.
27.
Where's the +3 from the starship bonus?
That's the.
That's a 27.
Okay.
So that's a 27. Does he get any bonuses? That is going to be a hit.
Nice.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the starship.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, I didn't write down the damage. I believe it's 2d6.
It's 2d6 like times 10 against
No, it's
the.
2.
Yeah.
It's whatever the starship's gun damage is times 10.
Okay. No, it's a D4, I'm pretty sure. I remember it being D4. 2, 3, so 5, and then plus
points
whatever
of-
the modifier.
I don't think it gets any modifiers.
Okay, so just 5.
For starship, unless you do bonuses.
So you're dealing 50 points of damage to this thing? Damn. Okay, cool. So you fire with this weapon designed to take out starships, and as you strike, you see it into the chest plate, and this creature staggers back 2 giant steps before self-righting, and it begins to move forwards. But you can see as the smoke clears away in the hangar bay, there are 2 clear, glowing cherry red marks that slowly are beginning to cool. It is still certainly standing, but that's a good amount of damage. Give me 1 second. The eyes glow a little brighter. That is your turn, Bubs?
Yeah.
Very nice. Echo. You are in space. Shade wings this ship over. You are now on the other side. What would you like to do?
Echo wants to try and get in the ship.
Yeah, how?
I don't know.
Spice
open.
is going to use her
Yeah, the bottom
whole
half
held
is open.
action to watch. She's gonna run through the hallways and watch while she's running through the hallway out the window and try to line herself up with Echo,
Okay.
and then make a command to the director to reach out and grab Echo.
Okay, sure.
We know he's got a little tiny champagne.
I
flute.
know, so I'm like, what else you got, director?
Okay, no problem. That's what you do. You use your hold action to shift the director's focus. So we'll get back to
Good, okay.
Echo's realizing that they've made a tactical error twice now, and like attempting to run under the guns because no ground. I thought there was ground. And Echo attempts to climb like back towards the airlock because at least like they could brace themselves in
Yeah,
the doorway.
absolutely, no problem. And with your speed, that's easy for you to do. You can rush around using handholds and elements to grab onto, and you get into the airlock and just jam yourself in.
Yeah, I'm good now.
That is your turn, Echo.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alrighty, that brings us to the director. So with you saying, bring the director in, with you saying, bring Echo in, the door did not open for you because it would have vented you into space, and the director is not trying to do that. And so, because it's still cycling through. And so, however, with this now directive to bring Echo in, it overrides the door. The door opens up, and Echo, you kind of like stumble back a little bit. There is this brief as a little bit of air escapes around you, but the airlock open in front of you. So no problem. You closing it. We'll say the director can shut this, and as the end of its action, open the other one. The air, and almost like pulls you, Spice, into the room as it equalizes the pressure. But no problem. You are back aboard the ship. That is the director's turn.
Is there like space sucking because I have the other door open?
No, that's
Okay.
shut now. Yeah, I assume that the
Yeah.
director's going
Yeah.
to shut it behind you.
Okay.
Emergency.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm on the outside of the ship with the door closed?
Correct, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit!
Fuck.
That is the director's turn. That brings us to the top of the round. Shade, what would you like
It's
to
okay.
do?
We made that choice.
I guess I can't really do much besides I think if I can try to maneuver the ship back a little now, staying on the same plane, but just so that this thing doesn't have any chance of golfing something else at the ship.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So you just kind of drift
But
back
still,
a
like,
little bit.
staying within range to have another shot at it.
So one thing that you would know without a roll is that by virtue of the fact that you can shoot at it, it can probably shoot at you. That's how physics
Yeah,
works.
well, like getting a little further back doesn't
Okay.
hurt.
So Shade, you use your turn to just kind of into the doorway a little bit more. No problem.
Get hit by these explosives.
No worries, no worries.
They throw
That is your turn,
grenades.
Shade. That brings us to you, Spice. Gibbs, you're on deck.
Spice. She's gonna yell at Shay. She's going, Shay, get us out of here! We need to escape this immediately! And then realizing Echo's in, but then Gibbs is out, and go, fuck!
Wrangling cats.
As soon as the door shuts and you're like, okay, we have Echo in, you turn, and you
Like
see
a
Gibbs just
sheep.
like... out in space.
It's like, we
but-
forgot Kevin.
Yeah.
As my turn, she's gonna look at how fucked up Echo is and go, you did good, soldier! Smack Echo on the shoulder and give you 22 stamina points.
As you smack Echo on the shoulder, there are sparks, there's a little bit of smoke, but overall, yeah, absolutely helpful. That is your turn, Spice?
Yeah, and I guess movement, get ready to go over to another airlock that Gibbs is closest to and prepare to
Okay,
suck.
you start running over to the main airlock, or the main exit. That is your turn, Spice. That brings us to you, Gibbs. Gibbs, you are out in space.
This is a 1 in a million, but it's got a lot of debuffs. So I'm gonna just say in the comms, it's made by magic. Maybe I can get it on our side. And I'm gonna cast build trust. So I sort of like from where I am, kind of grip onto the ship with my back feet and just sort of like raise my front feet, and I'm like, they're there, and I'm gonna try. It needs to make a charisma. It needs to make a will saving throw, which it does at like hella disadvantage.
It has -4 right now.
Yeah.
So that's the best roll that it's had so far, but it's still only, but I think this passes, a 20.
Okay, so that passes, but I get him. Okay, it negates. So
Okay.
never mind. So we're good. So I'm like, well, fuck.
You thump your little Yosoki feet against the ship, and for some reason that doesn't seem to build trust.
Yeah. Okay. Against the robot guy.
Yeah.
Then I just slip my fingers into this side of the airlocky thingy.
Okay.
And use my movement to open and skitter in and close.
Okay, so you just as much as you can, and it's you can't really. It's an airlock. You can't really get your like the whole idea of an airlock. It doesn't let air in it, so it
Right.
probably won't fit your hands in. However, as you're around, you pop this controls, and there is you can't hear anything, but nothing happens. From your side, Spice, as you're like running towards the airlock, you just see this like access denied, and you hear from the overhead the director just say, Gibbs is attempting to gain access to the main airlock.
Let her in! But, well, that's awesome. It's too late.
Alrighty. So, Gibbs, that is your turn. That brings us to this
so
creature.
I'm still on the outside of the ship
Yeah,
holding on.
absolutely.
Okay.
So this creature, still in this state where it is like almost ruined, and this starship just took a pretty good shot at it. I think it is going to... It can only take a move action, huh?
Move action or standard action?
Well, it lost the only thing it can golf, and so it is going to take its full movement action to run 60 feet, and using its full momentum, it's going to slam into the ship.
Nice.
Is that its single?
Wait.
Is that its range?
It's just running.
Is that its full run?
60, yeah. 60 is its movement.
Oh, okay.
But I was able to move back, right?
Yes. But so it's just floating towards you now, and with the carried momentum,
Oh,
you imagine it's just going to
floating?
yeah, it's in
Oh.
space, and so momentum doesn't just stop. There's nothing to stop it. So it only moves 60 feet, but at the very end, as it pops out into space, it is going to continue forward if nothing stops its momentum. That's where it ends, like a foot out, but it's coming.
Okay.
That is its turn. That brings us to Bubs. Bubs, you can see this like robot creature look up, and the red lights up across the lasers, and then all of a sudden it just and leaps, and you can see it's about to start heading towards you.
Shoot it.
Bubs is gonna get on the comms and go, I think it's coming closer! It's getting closer! And he's going to get his guns ready and like bring it right up to and adjust to where his new height is. I'm imagining he's a little bit higher now. And he's going to shoot on the guns.
Yeah, go for it.
That is a 4.
Oh no.
I mean, I think I almost
a lot of
always hit.
stuff.
Yeah. It's 4 plus 7 plus 4, so 8 plus 7 is 15, plus 3 is 18, so 18?
That's gonna be a miss. And so as
No,
you
there's no plus 4.
even with the +4, my friend, that is a miss. And so as you fire this laser, it hits, and you can see it off of this bronze. It glows red hot, but it doesn't seem to dimple and dent as much, and it almost instantly cold in the space. It's still coming towards it. But anything else, Bubs?
That's my turn.
Alrighty, that is your turn, Bubs. That brings us to Echo. Echo, you are braced in the airlock, and from where you are, just off to the side, you see this creature begin to lurch forwards. What are you doing?
Well, now that they're inside the ship, they're going to kind of like look around. I apologize for the error. And get in, and they're going to. It would be best if we get out of its way. And just try to like help. Basically, I want to do the crew action to like help make piloting checks
Okay.
move easier.
No problem. No problem.
There's a thing for
The
that, and I can't remember off the
engineering.
top of my
So
head.
on your next piloting check, you're going to
It's
get a +4 conditional modifier, I believe.
The
There's a
engineering
thing.
modifier.
Oh, you're using the minor
No.
crew action. Sorry, that's a +2 conditional modifier.
No, there's a thing. There's a thing,
Okay.
mate.
Are you looking at divert?
I heard that as
engineering
there's a
check,
thing, mate.
Divert auxiliary power to a different system.
No.
Chief mate, there we go.
Chief mate.
Hard turn. Improve starship maneuverability to +2.
Oh, okay. Cool, cool.
DC is 10 plus 1.5 starship tier.
Yeah.
Which is 8.
And that's an acrobatics check. It's a 19.
So
Flat
Nice.
19?
So you, because it's the
Oh,
DC
flat
is 10
19?
plus 8, so you got 19.
Yeah.
So then
not
you
total,
passed.
but like flat 19.
You,
no,
you're
you-
using your engineerings.
Yeah, it's an acrobatics check.
So,
I see what you're saying.
but the check's
Cool,
just
cool,
whether or
cool,
not
cool.
you get the +2 or not, or whether or
Yeah.
not you fail. So
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
the +2
You
because
succeed. You succeed.
Yeah.
No worries. We're there. We all got there.
Like, why are
Starfinder.
you afraid?
Pathfinder. Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Cool.
That's my action and my movement, because I assume I have to go get there.
Yeah. So that is your turn, Echo. That does bring us to the director. I don't think anybody's. Well, no.
Let's me in.
No. Right.
That's me in!
I'm
So,
confused about
all
why
of a
there's
sudden-
an issue there.
The door lock opens, and Spice, go ahead and make a reflex saving throw as the emptiness
on
of
to
space
something.
threatens to just yank you out. Gibbs, the door opens, and you see Spice suddenly accelerate towards you.
I'm like that cat, like standing on all of its like legs, but only gripping by like
Yeah.
the cat
Oh,
that's on the like
absolutely,
the
yeah.
air thing.
Your like claws are hooked into
Yeah.
the gangplank. Yeah. What was that, Spice?
13?
13. Spice, you are yanked
Reflex!
away.
Can I
and you
reflex?
slam. Go ahead, make a reflex saving
To
throw.
like at least grab her into me.
Space, guys.
Oh, 19! I don't know what am I doing?
So this is a
arm or
reflex
my
saving throw,
foot.
so.
Reflex saving throw. Oh, +3.
+3.
So 22.
22, no problem. So, Spice, as the door opens, all the air is sucked out, and as you rocket down the gangplank, Gibbs, who is hooked on with all of their Yosoki claws, reaches out and just grabs onto your ankle. Your arm almost pops out of the socket, but as all the air just vanishes, and you like just hold on to Spice, you can kind of just throw her back aboard, and you can lurch aboard. And at the very end of this kind of movement, the director begins to close the gangplank. There is no oxygen in the cargo bay for the remainder of the fight. However, you are aboard and inside.
Nice.
That is the director's
lock
turn.
the doors, put
That
the
brings
safety
us to I know, really. Keep everybody inside now.
Yeah, child lock.
That brings us to the top of the round. Round 4. Round 4. You guys are now all in the ship again.
Yay!
So, only took us 4 rounds. That brings us to Shade, followed by Spice. Shade, everybody's aboard. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna use my exocortex
No, I did a
to do
reflex
the computer's
save.
check to balance the shields to the side this side because it's on that side.
Yeah, no problem.
And then I'm going to use my action to do a piloting check to do the evade stuff.
Okay, go ahead and make your piloting check.
With the +2 from Echo.
What are you grabbing, Joe? What's going on back there?
Never use it, but you could just put that.
Oh,
That is
shit.
technically the top of your ship.
Yeah.
We just never. I've never painted it or anything, but we do have that.
It's Mosaic
I mean,
blue.
it fits the fact that our ship now is not well painted.
No,
It is
certainly
painted.
not. But no, I was thinking if you put that over,
Upside
that way
down.
it can kind of symbolize where the ship actually is.
It'll cover
Oh,
like
like
olive
over here?
olive stuff.
Fine.
Cool.
Okay,
I don't need to roll.
just roll in the ship. Yeah, that's a
Ah,
great
there we
dice
go.
tray.
It's your biggest dice tray.
So
Actually fits your big dice.
The ship now has a +2 to the AC and target locking.
Cool, very cool.
And I'm moving it up to half its normal speed.
Okay,
No, up to its speed and turn as normal. So I'm gonna back it, I guess, 3-dimensionally up and away as much as I can, so that
Okay.
it's outside of the.
so you tilt
trajectory.
the ship and you try to get out and away. No problem. Okay.
We're gonna find out this guy's got
And
boots
then
on.
the computer's check
Thrusters or some shit.
for diverting the shields is it's gonna be like a 39
Yeah,
or something.
certainly.
It's base 16.
As you yank the throttle and you begin to pull away, everybody finally aboard. You're able to push all of your exocortex to move the ship's shields and kind of slam them to the side, hoping to brace it against whatever onslaught this creature could put against it. Anything else, Shade?
Nope, that's it for me.
Spice. You slam into Gibbs. However, Gibbs just holds on, brings you aboard. You are back in the ship. What would you like to do?
Child lock all the doors.
Okay. Free action.
I feel like the director did that on this.
Yeah.
Silky lock.
What? This is not my fault. Why am I getting blamed for
You're
this?
so cute.
No one said it was your fault.
Yes, Spice is gonna take a deep breath and hold her action to see if the monstrosity is going to jump into space and leap at us or
Okay,
attack.
no problem. So you hold your action. That is your turn. Spice. Gibbs, what would you like to do? You see Spice kind of freeze up for a second, thinking about what to do.
As soon as my body bounces on the steel floor of the inside of the ship, I just go full sprint skittering like a dog on the carpet, and run to Echo. And I'm like, you idiot! You could have waited 5 seconds and I could have helped you! But as I'm doing that, it's not seemingly affectionate, but you get enough affection that I will heal you 6d8 at my new level up. So
Billy style inspiration.
68?
68! It's almost like
That's back to
69!
full health.
Echo feels like little rat claws and teeth just like skittering and biting on their skin.
It's like linking the circuitry together on the inside, just little tiny rats.
it's a bunch. Hold on.
Okay, no problem.
Move
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on. I can't do this right now.
So that is your turn, Gibbs.
Yeah, that was movement, grouching, and complaining.
Cool.
Swift action to
Move,
grouch.
complain, heal.
33.
That is your turn, Gibbs. That brings us to this creature, who is, I believe, for 2 more rounds, still shaken and stunned, shaken and stirred. So he can only use his move action to use these thrusters located in the boots, the gloves, the elbows, and Iron Giant his way, not a sponsor, over to the airlock. And so there is this, as this metal creature just attaches. However, that is its turn.
Where did it attach to?
The airlock.
Which is all
Wait,
crumply
but the
dumply.
airlock's
or-
Or sorry, the guns. Ooh,
Oh.
actually, yeah. So right now, Bubs, its head, like right between the barrels. So if you fire, you're firing over it. This
The heat
creature's
would probably
eyes, like
melt it.
glowing directly in front of you. The entire interior of the gunnery bay just awash in red light, and you see this creature just holding on, like staring straight through the viewport.
Oh wow.
That is its turn. That brings us to you, Bubs.
As Bubs was saying, it's getting closer, it's getting closer. Bubs would probably, it's getting closer, it's getting closer, it's right here!
Hit it!
Bubs is gonna like fall out of his chair for a second, and then he's gonna like scramble back, and he's going,
he's gonna like fall out towards the door. And as he's out the door, he's gonna say, "Director, close the door to the gunnery bay."
Okay.
And then I'm going to get on the comms. Guys, the monster is on the gunnery analog shooter. I don't know what to do.
Can I use my action? Because it is on our ship now, and I'm going to try to cast Daze on it.
Yeah, sure.
see if
Go
it
for it.
works.
Absolutely.
It
Yeah.
gets like hella negatives to
It does,
saving
yeah.
throws.
Just so, let's see.
What kind of save?
It's going to be a will save.
Nice.
That is a 14.
Oh, you miss. I know that. I didn't even have to
These-
look at it.
Yeah. These negatives are really helping out.
Yeah.
So you, wait, humanoids of CR4 or higher.
Ah,
affected.
so
Shit.
not humanoid.
I
This is a
should have read it.
And so as you cast Daze, it kind of bursts across and it strikes the metal and does nothing. There's no organic brain to Daze.
Yep.
But-
Spice goes, well, that didn't work.
No worries. So that is Bubs. Anything else? You're inside. You tell the director to close the door.
I'm probably gonna just like crawl. Like I imagine Bubs fell back and he crawled back through the door because he's like so shocked. He's probably just crawling back a little bit, and
No
that's
problem.
all. That's in flavors. That's what I do.
Alrighty, that's your turn, Bubs. And like for flavor, not able to do this because of all of the stacked effects on it, but this creature is now like trying to slam its way through. But Echo, what would you like to do? And then the director.
I'm reading.
Interesting. I am reading over Kara's shoulder, and interesting line of thought that I'm following.
So
I want to read something too.
Get some spells.
Yeah.
So
spells.
is it like magneted to the ship?
Hard to tell.
Director, how quickly are you able to open the airlock doors?
Free action, the director responds. I can perform one action around.
Fucking unhelpful.
I love him.
So like open close like when Echo
So
got pulled
right
in?
now, Bubs has it set on his turn to shut the gunnery door. Whoever you've noticed now, whoever makes the most recent command to the director, so it could technically always be you, Echo, is the person that gets that command heard.
Electrify the outside of the ship.
What are you doing, Echo?
Echo is going to run over to join Shade and as co-pilot
Okay.
and say, "We need to make evasive maneuvers. Perhaps if we spin the ship quickly."
You could just hear from like down the hall, but no problem.
Crew, the chief mate action again is
no
what
problem.
Echo's gonna do.
DC 18.
Acrobatics check to help with maneuverability. That's gonna be a 28.
Absolutely, no problem. You are the chiefest of mates. That is your turn, Echo. That brings us to the director.
For the ship.
You gave no command to the director, correct?
I can't.
No problem. So, Bubs, you see this creature, and then the red light suddenly cut off as the door shuts. And the director says, "Very well, Bubbles." That is the director's turn. That brings us to the top of the round, Shade. Echo slides into the chair behind you. What do you want to do? Or next to you?
So, none of the things within the sheet of rules
Yes.
really reflects what I'm trying to do.
What are you trying to do?
Joe loves
I'm
this.
trying to basically do a bunch of barrel rolls, get it really spinning a bunch,
So,
but try to like
Centrifugal force.
That's
Yeah,
what
that'd be,
not
but
super
wouldn't that
fast,
take
but
us-
try to like skim it off like a rock or something and kind of like
so you're doing the scrape it off maneuver.
yeah, just try to like knock it off.
Make a piloting
perch
check.
and you just
Yeah,
quote, like-
absolutely.
+2.
Riding yourself into a guardrail because you have bugs in your windshield.
It's more like as you're biking along.
I mean, I'm
It's
gonna
whether or not he's gonna take the gun
try to
with it.
dislodge it. What else am I gonna do? I'm
All of a sudden we have
sitting in the cockpit.
No Christmas
got
tree,
a
no
fucking
guns.
thing on the ship.
Child
Yeah,
locks
this
are
is
on.
in the midst of space, like somewhere like 1,000 years from now, somebody's driving along at a Christmas tree, just right in their windshield.
+2. plus. Holy. Okay, that's gonna be oh my god.
Do the
math
math
is
out
fucking
loud.
Hard. Okay, 15 plus 2 plus 3 plus
20.
2
22.
plus 18.
40.
40.
40.
Yeah, no problem. So you slam the ship basically into the rocks, taking this creature, and as it hits in and bubbles, as this shuts behind you, you just start to see the station get closer and closer as all of a sudden it shuts and you hear that last slam of the fist, and then all of a sudden you feel the entire ship, it feels like it just breaks in, and you imagine the windshield just smashed in as it feels to you like this creature just ripped through. But in reality, Shade, you just slammed it against an asteroid, and you deal 20 points of damage to this creature. You deal 20 points of damage to that side of your ship. It goes straight through the shields. You're scraping your ship against a rock. However, it certainly is looking quite rough. And Bubs, if that door was open, you would be seeing this creature sparking, a little bit of damage, not all the way through the hull as you had feared.
Oh, really?
Does that cause the gunning to start glitching?
I would say, yeah, almost certainly.
Quick patch.
Oh, look at that. Quick patch. No problem. So all of a
Answered your
sudden,
own curse.
all of a sudden, as you were like, the door shuts and it says, very well, Bubbles. Bubbles, the gunnery station is offline. Bubbles, the gunnery station is online.
Okay.
But no problem. That is your turn, Shade.
That's it.
Alrighty.
for me.
Spice, you feel the ship lurch as it scrapes along the rock. What would you like to do?
She's going to. So if I understand correctly, we've got Rock, Monstrosity, our ship, the airlock in between the
Correct.
gunner door and the outside of the ship where the guy is,
Yep.
and then us.
Yep.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is Spice is gonna go up to the inside of our ship,
Okay.
underneath that door there, where she assumes that the enemy is gonna come in, and
Okay.
she's going to cast Adhere on the ground.
Okay.
What is that?
That's phenomenal.
New spell
New
alert!
spell.
It's a good
Fresh
spell.
It is a
spells
good
all
spell.
around.
What does it do?
Does it just adhere things to stuff?
Yeah, so you see Spice, like, to anybody who's looking, she's just kind of like kneeling on the ground and like rubbing it with the palm of her hand. And people are like, what?
It's fuse.
And you wouldn't be able to tell, but at a molecular level, she's making the ground sticky. And so whatever crosses it, it's gonna be stuck or entangled.
So you take out a little vial of something that Vess had made, and like putting it onto your hand, you rub this across, and almost instantly from where you are, you can see on a molecular level, the floor does change. You can see it becomes like tacky, and as you finish rubbing the last part away, you pull away and there's like little flecks of metal on your hand. Certainly this is like a adhesive that you have almost converted the top layer of electrons on this surface to.
So she's gonna back up, and she's gonna go, nobody go near the door now. Unless you want to get stuck.
Okay, no problem. So Bubbles, right in front of you, you watch as Spice just like, it makes the entire floor this strange, like goopy consistency. But that is your turn, Spice. That brings us to Gibbs.
Gibbs was heading headfirst towards the door and then kind of like sees Spice's stuff and is like very familiar with like the nonsense of spellcasting.
Hark, some nonsense.
And will, with her basic knowledge, it's only on the floor. You know, I wouldn't know that.
Well, yeah, you would see
Spice
it
said, "Don't
five,
go there."
six, like it's a 5-foot square on the floor.
Is there a window on this
Tastes
door?
good.
Not on the door, no, because it's,
Okay.
yeah.
Then I will skitter to a halt right outside of the sticky spot.
Okay.
Not that it. Anyways. And we'll be like, well, we still have to get rid of him. And because I don't need to see it or anything, I will mind thrust this guy.
Nice.
Okay.
I love mind throw. So
So I need a will saving throw.
This is against a, just against a creature?
It's against a target.
Target, okay, yeah. And you said a will save?
A will saving throw, which only halves it.
And it's probably got some low will because it's feel bad.
It's all my shit
It's not doing
stacks.
great. That is a 10.
Cool.
That's extra feel bad.
It was at the first level because y'all are
It doesn't
expensive.
Have a mind, but it has low self-esteem right now.
It's thinking back to that time that Daddy Tombstone. Was
So it's
just like,
14 psychic damage to this guy.
Okay.
As Gibbs as his spell starts to evolve, as Gibbs gets more and more
For
into
what
it.
it's worth, seems to do, because this is an arcane effect,
Yeah.
you get the sense with this magic, it seems to do 10 less damage.
I would imagine that.
Bummer.
I mean, yeah, it's psychic damage. It's
Yeah.
fine. Gibbs has nothing else that would work from a distance that doesn't require like sight.
Anything else, Gibbs?
Gibbs just starts to cast this spell, kind of starting to be like the same way that she's starting to cast Nightmare a lot more frequently. Really starting to just like take like the overwhelming thoughts and feelings of things that are make people feel like the worst of themselves, and realizes that she has made this guy feel bad, but can't really like get her claws into it. It's like fuck. Ah!
No problem. Yeah, this creature, this strange entity, not quite. There is a mind in there. For what it's worth, this is not a true construct, which are immune to mind effects. This seems to be something a little bit different, but yeah, it's certainly taking effects from what you're casting. That is your turn. That brings us to this creature. So now, finally, attached to the ship and no longer having to move to do anything, it is going to attempt to pierce the door.
The gunnery station or what door?
Yeah, the gunnery station. It's going to attempt to go through the guns.
Okay. And then we'd have broken seal, right?
Yes.
Good thing you
Hop in the Daft Punk style spacesuit.
Can't do more.
So, without knowing the rules totally offhand, my guess is this creature dealing 30 points of damage isn't dealing 30 points of starship damage. So I'm going to say it deals 10 points of damage to your hull. It is quite a good blow. As it like rents its way in, it does create enough of a hole to enter.
Yeah. Okay.
And this creature like tears its way in, and so now Bubbles, you see Spice, who just says like, "Don't go there," and suddenly there's a, and everybody, you, Spice, Gibbs, who is like right next to the space, like jolt in place, having to steady yourselves against the wall, and now you can hear the as the air is sucked out from the room, and beyond this bulkhead there is just space. You imagine your cannon's not in great shape.
Imagine on the trip home if we get more pirates.
Great.
So that is this creature's turn, since it can only take an action. Bubs, what would you like to do?
In the heat of battle, as he's punching through, as his fist is through, would I be able to attack that fist?
So you can't see it. There's like right now there are two doors. There is the exterior door that goes into like the gunnery bay, and then there is like another one that is the airlock between the two.
Oh, I thought he broke
Vestibule.
through.
He
Oh, it's only
broke
a small
through.
hole.
Yeah, so he broke through. He's like ripping his way in through the cannon.
Johnny
Yeah.
kind of situation.
Yeah, so like the cannon that you can actually see has like ripped through the center part
I
of
know
that
how to
and
do
is
it.
moving
Okay.
through.
I can just throw my Dothko. It has a return thing.
Oh no!
So again, there is a door between you and this
We have
creature.
to open the door that the director shut.
Yeah.
You shut that door.
I mean, yeah, the seal's already broken.
No.
No, it's not.
No.
This, the door that you shut is the
door-
only thing keeping
The
you
guy is
two
right
separate.
here.
Yeah.
Where's the dude?
I don't think it'll fit.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like
No, he
No,
broke.
I
hanging
understand.
out
I
there.
understand.
Yeah.
He broke through the hull.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
this
I
is
understand.
like sticky now.
Yeah. So
Then I'm just gonna hold my action to, if he breaks through that, I will throw my Dothko.
Okay.
And I will also say, never mind, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, no worries, cool. So you prepare if this creature should breach in somehow, though the entire vacuum of space will suck most of your ship out, you are going to throw your Dothko also. And it's going to go a little faster than that.
Oh no.
No problem. So that is your turn, Bubbles. That brings us to Echo. Echo, what would you like to do?
Echo looks over at Shade and says, I believe we have company on our ship. And zoop.
bye.
The chair is just around in a circle.
And Echo's going to so I've moved.
There's
Can I
a
still hold
wall.
an action?
Huh?
I still have the wheel saved up.
Say again?
I've moved. Can I still hold an action?
Yes.
Echo's gonna ready the anti-grav grenade
Okay.
and when the second the door opens, they're gonna lob it.
Okay, very cool. Love it, love it, love it. So you have that grenade in your hand, ready to cook off. That is your turn, Echo. That brings us to the director. Nobody has issued a command to the director, I don't believe.
No.
Fuck.
And so,
I
Let's see
want
what the
to tell him to move the guns to like try to shake them off, but I think the guns are just broken, right?
probably at this
Yeah,
point, like not. So from a mechanics standpoint, like you can certainly fix them, but right now, until you do so, yeah, they're inoperable. They're not like broken though. So the director is going to hold its action, I guess. That brings us to Shade.
So is it still outside the ship enough that I could smush it a little more?
Probably not. That would probably just push it all the way in.
All right.
And that would almost certainly destroy your cannons at that point.
So I think I need to set this thing into autopilot and go deal with the thing. Which I think, can I use my exocortex to? It's one of the minor actions to just like
Oh, I could do that.
glide. Is it glide? Yeah. And just have it kind of hover.
Yeah, no problem. You can have it hover.
And I can add my ranks in the piloting skill to the starship's AC and TL.
Oh, very cool, very cool.
Which I will do. And then I'm going to use my move action to get out of the cockpit and start running this way.
Okay.
I don't know
So
where
you
the
flip the switch, autopilot engages, and then you run much slower than Echo, but still following.
And it hasn't breached yet, right? So I'm just going to
Correct.
move my full movement and then...
Oh, that's the echo. Oh, there it
It
is.
might make sense because you guys have just completely negated my entire battlefield. So I'm just moving this
Shit,
around.
sorry.
It's all right.
You want to just take this up?
That's what he's
Yeah,
doing.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Beautiful battlefield that had so much shit in it that we could have
I
taken.
know, but we're gonna come back.
It still exists.
We're not done.
I didn't want to get hit with the bombs.
Slide that back.
My stuff's
Sacrifice
starting to
all
run
this
out though.
stuff.
This guy's gonna be in and stronger than ever. Cause like it only lasts for like a minute and stuff.
That's okay. He's not looking great.
So, no problem. Now we have everything back up.
And I can't see it, right? So I guess I'll just ready my action to fire if it breaches.
You do so. That is your turn. Shade Spice, what would you like to do? And then Gibbs, you're on deck.
I'm going to hold my action. Well, what do I want?
You tell me.
She's going to order the director to... Director, do what you can to get this thing off of your body. And then she's going to move up to the door and then hold her action for if and when it breaches through into our ship.
Okay, no problem. That is your turn. Spice. Gibbs, what would you like to do?
So Gibbs sees everyone just sort of waiting nervously around this door, realizing that if this door gets broken, that we're like fucked, cause like then we can't close the door even if later. So Gibbs,
You are losing like more and more of your ship's accessibility. Yeah.
so Gibbs is just gonna open the door
Okay.
Wow.
because we're all just waiting. Because either it's gonna break
From
through
a physics
or
standpoint, I love that. That's so
yeah.
smart.
So
Okay, cool.
Gibbs is gonna use her move action to open the fucking door,
And so all of
and then all of the actions kick off.
So, okay, first of all, give me 1 second. Dope. That is dope as shit. So, Gibbs, this whole battlefield is unfolding. This creature is like ripping its way into the ship, like going through the actual hull. Bubbles is on the ground, like scrambling backwards. You see Spice is manipulating the molecular matter, like right in front of you. Echo is running over. Shade is like pretty far behind them. Squeak is even further
safely
behind.
nestled in the cockpit, taking a nap under the seat, and nothing bad will happen to him.
But with all of this happening, you see everybody like getting ready, and you're just like, huh. And you just hit the button, and the door opens. And like even in slow motion, everything happens real fast. Shade, you are like ripped off your feet. The drone, I think, is actually in the armory, so it's not actually there right now. the whole roll of toilet paper that's in the bathroom right off and just like streaks by. Echo, you like feel that same pulling sensation, and for all of you, it's the exact same thing. Could everybody make a reflex saving throw, please?
Oh no.
Oh, nice.
Nice, yeah.
Oh no.
Well,
Oh,
maybe you
Oh,
get
yeah, nice.
stuck into my adhere. Maybe you get stuck to the
I
floor.
think that's what the reflex
that's
is.
a good idea.
Wow.
I love this.
This
I love
is
this chaos.
such a chaotic thing. Okay, so
I hate all of this.
who rolled below a 15?
Hi.
Just Echo? So Shade,
You don't need to breathe.
as this opens up and like the oxygen is sucked out, Shade, you grab onto the elements around you. You are used to being on a ship, and so you already had like your hands on the walls. In battle, you never like have one, you always have one hand at least on the ship, and so you like steady yourself. Spice, from where your hands were already on the ground, so your fingers just go into the grates, and you like feel your whole body pulled. For you, Gibbs, you bite into the grate, you hold onto it with your teeth and your claws. Echo, you're already running so fast that you have no chance. You just get ripped out, and you slam into the construct as the door opens, full speed, hitting it. I would say both you and it, as you are yanked in pretty hard, not super
At
hard.
least it saved you.
Both of you are taking 4 points of bludgeoning damage, and both of you out into space.
Wait, did I at least knock it out of the ship?
And so you and it, in like a tangle, are kind of heading vaguely back in the direction of the asteroid.
I'm okay with this.
We're going to see exactly what direction. Also, there is no oxygen
I don't need to
in
breathe
your
like
ship.
you.
However, what I will say is, Spice, as you did say, do what you can to like get this guy at you, and then all of a sudden you just vent the oxygen. You hear the doors throughout the ship shut. And so it is going to construe, there is no oxygen that basically goes anywhere from the engineering bay, wrapping all the way around to basically that whole area is just oxygen free. Along with the corridor that goes all the way up to that that whole area
So
is
there's a door
oxygen
here,
free.
basically.
Yep. So you guys have oxygen in the crew quarters, you have oxygen in the actual airlock, and then you have oxygen in the cockpit and the armory. And that's
And the
pretty much
med
it. And the med bay. Yeah. So front part of the ship has oxygen. Echo, you and this entity just into space. That is Gibbs' turn.
Well, that's just my.
Yeah, anything else, Gibbs?
Can I step through the door and close it on the other side with the rest of my turn?
Yeah, I would say that would be your
So
full
then
turn.
I'm in the chaos, Echo's in the chaos, but the chaos stops happening at the door
Correct.
here.
Yeah. So you're in the in between the airlock and the ruined cannons.
Yeah, so then I'm sort of crouching, holding onto the grate, but I've got eyesight with both the construct and Echo as I start to like think
No
about
problem.
what the fuck I'm gonna do about
You're
that
breathing
problem.
heavy. The condensation in this fishbowl helmet that you're wearing is like getting pretty bad, but you're still safe. You shut the door behind you. That is your turn, Gibbs. Phenomenal. That brings us to this creature. So this creature,
Has thrusters.
it does, and this is the last turn that it's only able to do one thing. And so with this, I think, Echo, go ahead and make a competing athletics check.
Not acrobat?
No, because this is a grapple.
No.
36.
Okay.
Echo, as
Even
you
if I got a nat 20.
boom into it and it starts going out, boom, it just grabs onto you. And you feel it's like the grip magnetizes and just tight. And you feel the metal bend a little bit as it threatens to crush the mechanisms in your body. But you are grappled. And actually, specifically, let me just make sure I have this right. You can't move. You cannot take two-handed actions. You take a -2 penalty to AC, most attack rolls, reflex saves, initiative checks, and dex-based skill and ability checks, and you cannot make attacks of opportunity. So this creature and you just
How
end over end
far
in space.
away from the ship are they starting to be? What's the distance of them?
You will use math in real life, kids.
You want to play
He's doing like
Starfinder?
the force of the thing.
Grappled.
Oh, you guys are here.
13 miles an hour. So like maybe only like 20 feet away.
Dope.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. I thought there was more coming after that.
No, it's not my turn.
No worries. Okay, so this creature grapples you, Echo. Bubs, from where you are, you watch as Gibbs just opens the door, slips through, and then shuts the door. Suddenly, the oxygen stops being sucked out, and you can still feel like there is this absence of oxygen in here, but there is gravity. What would you like to do?
I want to go out and I'm probably going to yell an echo, and he's probably going to open. If I open the door, will that pressure also knock Gibbs out again?
I would say based on what you've seen, probably, but you don't know.
Yeah.
Gibbs is gripped in. You would know that.
Bubs will take on the ion tape,
Okay.
and he is planning on, once he opens the door, handing the roll to Gibbs.
Okay.
He's going to tie a little bit around himself.
Okay. The classic maneuver.
Yeah.
I love it.
And he's going to basically open the door and try to go save Echo.
Okay. So you are lassoing a strip of ion tape around your waist, essentially, and you are preparing to hand the other end to Gibbs as you get pulled through the door.
I think I'm
Why
going.
wouldn't you adhere yourself to the ground also with my adhere spell?
No, I'm trying to go save Echo.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to say what I'm going to
Send
do.
Gibbs out to do
Adhere the
that.
tape to
Well, he doesn't trust me, so let him
Gibbs
make his
can't
choice.
fly.
I can fly. I'm gonna fucking Wally this with a fire extinguisher, man.
Gibbs has pointedly been collecting fire extinguishers.
Yeah, like I'm good. I'm Gucci.
I know that Gibbs has at least 3 fire extinguishers. So that
Which is ridiculous because I have charges.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
But this is my plan, man. Gibbs is fucking on it.
I guess I just don't know that.
Okay. Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I mean, I'm going to open the door. That's what I was.
Okay, no problem. So you,
So sorry for
everybody
all
is
of
just,
my decisions.
you guys are all trying so hard to keep each other in the ship, but nobody will do
stayed in
it.
the
You
ship.
open the door again. There is a brief stagger as you get pulled like a step or two. Most of the oxygen has been vented, and so
Yeah.
there's not anything to yank you out. And so you stagger, take a couple steps forwards. You see Gibbs like holding on to this grate. This creature is like with Echo, and you can see its red eyes,
Yeah.
and then much smaller Echo's blue eyes as they go through space. What are you doing on the other side?
I'm going to take off. I tape the tape to the side, and I'm going to take off, trying to get Echo.
Okay, so you slap the tape on one side and you out into space. No
I
problem.
think I would have a better chance with a jetpack than your fire extinguisher.
Gibbs,
I don't know.
you're
It
watching.
depends on the
you just
roles,
heroically
man.
tried to save people, and now everybody's one by one exiting the place that you
Yeah.
tried to save them. in.
Don't
No
worry, I'll
problem.
save you and Echo with my fire
did it
extinguisher.
before it was
Bobs, that's your turn. Echo, what would you like to do? You are grappled.
Not be grappled?
Okay, go ahead and make an athletics check.
gonna go ahead and not be grappled.
I mean, if you could possibly break out, this would be the time.
That doesn't.
What is it?
27?
27 is high.
As it is gripped onto you, and you can see like all this stuff happening, and you are going end over end and careening back towards this like asteroid which has jagged bits of ice and metal that are sticking out of it. You like sense that this creature, squeezing as it is in its kind of bulbous form, there needs to be a point that you can get into and then leverage your body outside. Sorry. And so you kind of shift back and forth looking for a place, and you feel an element of movement, and it's so slight, but you are very, very fast. And so you basically do like the flash like vibration where you like shift a little bit, and then all of a sudden as it goes end over end over end, you out. You separate. As it rolled a 2 for a total of 20.
Yes.
Oh my.
So I flew 30 feet out from the ship towards Echo. How far
Okay.
is Echo from?
So Echo's only 20 feet away. So
Okay.
I would say Echo, as you like break out of its grasp, and it is like, and it like swipes and just misses you. Suddenly from the other side, Bubbles just hits you, and yeah, the two of you are like pressed together. Anything else, Echo? That is an action.
I don't think Echo can do anything else.
No problem. The problem is when you're in space, if you don't have any like way of propelling, not everybody hoards fire extinguishers. So that is your turn, Echo. You break free. That brings us to the
Can't
director.
use my action to shoot myself back.
So that is going to bring us to the top of the round. Shade, what would you like to do?
So I've seen all of this happening.
Yeah, you had to like grab on, but around. I would say, yeah, you get a vague idea of what's going on. You cannot see from where you are, Echo and this creature, but you see it happen, and then it shifts out of your view.
Is the door open now
No,
because
it's
you
closed.
opened it?
Closed.
You closed it again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're making that part of the movement.
Oh my god.
Du-du-du.
Alright, I guess I'm gonna fucking move and... I don't want to open the door. All these fucking air breathers.
No, we're all in our
Suits.
suits.
And there's no air in the room that you're
Okay,
in right now.
then yeah, I'm gonna open the door so I can assess the situation.
Yeah, you open the door, and this third time, there's not even like a tiny bit of air behind you. Nothing changes.
Nope.
Yeah.
Now I see it.
Now you see it. Yeah.
Cool. Can I, with the trajectories, is this thing hitting the asteroid?
Yeah.
And Echo is coming back now.
Correct.
And Bubs and Echo are connected, or like
They're connected, and then it seems like likely on Bubs' next turn, we're going to find out whether or not that collision is going to cause them to go away from each other, or they're going to be able to actually hold on.
Gotcha. Okay, I would like to assist that
Okay.
by using the gravity gun to hold them 10 feet in towards the ship.
Okay, hold that for a second.
like once
It's easy
they're-
enough to hit. Well, go ahead and make an attack roll because they are kind of careening through space.
Can we flavor it? That
Exocortex off of the ship, telling director to keep it steady. Exocortex target locking.
No worries.
Can we flavor it as Bubs is? It's tied around his waist. One end is attached to the ship exit part where he left, and then like the slack is in Bub's hand, and he's leading with the slack.
Yeah, sure.
And the tape part is close to Echo.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So the gravity gun successfully hits, and then they have to roll a DC, a save, to not get
Reflex?
pulled, or they can optionally choose to fail it.
Fail it.
Yeah.
So Echo, you are yanked
I mean,
forwards, and
no.
Bubs, as you hold the very end out, and like it is, you see suddenly Echo just pulled forwards, and the tape just right onto Echo's forehead. Echo,
you.
all of your momentum just stops as Bubs reaches out. Bubs just full flat palms you in the forehead and like sticks this little bit of ionic tape. But that, no problem. You feel like a really weird fuzzy sensation because it's ionic tape and you are an android.
Does Echo have like a headache?
It's like a very mild drunk sensation, yeah. But
It's like when
It's
you have cavities and you're like eating.
I was
them.
gonna say, no, like
No.
when you,
oh god, no!
when you
no,
put a
no, no,
magnet
no, no,
up against the
no, no.
TV.
Real life
do
fears
not
there.
like,
No.
do not
Yeah.
like.
Magnet against
Okay.
the TV. That's what it's like.
That is your turn, Shade. That brings us to you, Spice.
Spice is going to lean her back against the wall, spark of a cigarette, and shake her head.
So you have your spacesuit on.
Oh shit! Yeah, wait. She like looks at the cigarette, like clinks it against her mask, and just does this a few times.
Also, I don't think it can light.
Yeah.
No, that's I know that.
You do need
She
oxygen.
just
Yeah.
does it in like frustration.
No problem.
That's my.
No spark. You just turn the wheel in space. That is your turn,
Soviets
Spice.
invented the cigarette.
That brings us to Gibbs. Gibbs, what would you like to do? From where you are, you can see Bubs sticks the tape on Echo's forehead. This creature is still corroning away. What do you want to do?
So Gibbs realizes that the creature has thrusters
Yes.
and that her spells are starting to fade.
They are about to fade on his next turn.
Yeah, and so rescuing Echo does not necessarily solve the problem because the guy's still there. Looking quickly at the guns, those are fucked, right?
They don't look great.
Okay, so Gibbs will instead try to make some straight line between her and the creature that doesn't include any of her allies. By like,
Okay.
just by like making, like moving her body around like the little cavity she has
Okay.
to like skid her around so she can make a straight line between her and the guy.
Okay.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
you
go
can,
out
you
into
can,
space?
you can
Well,
kind
I'm
of do
skittering
that.
around like this thing because
Yeah.
I only take I take up a small
Okay.
portion, so I just need a beam of light between
Okay.
us.
You kind of like hold on to the ion tape string and
Yeah, I was
use that
gonna
like a
say.
zip line almost to get just your like toes still on the edge of the deck. You're leaning out and around and you can fire, no problem. So what are you casting?
Gibbs sort of slams her hands together. It makes no clap because she's in space, but puts her palms and then just stretches, refracting from the dimension of time, forming a massive blade between her and this creature, casting Time's Edge, which deals 10d6 slashing damage to all creatures in the straight line that she's using.
And how long of a straight line,
I think
Gibbs?
it's like 70 feet or some shit.
It's a long
It's like a long ass. I forget. It's not
I
actually.
think it's 100. It's like a huge ass.
It's fucking sucks.
It's 10d6. What?
Sucks for the bad guy.
So the problem with this spell we
it-
figured out is that there's almost no situation. Think about this. Chawik Genetic Solutions, you're firing into the city.
120
Like,
feet.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah.
so I
the time.
This is a railgun.
So
This
I
is the time.
do that.
Guys, we should just put Gibbs on the outside of the ship
I know.
always.
Just give like.
Oh,
I love that.
okay, hold on. This is 5.
Would it shoot her back with the recoil though?
No,
This is-
it's
this is-
me
So
retching
for what it's
time.
worth, this in terms of damage, comparable to your laser cannon. I think the laser cannon technically would be a little higher,
Not by
but
much,
not by
though.
much. No,
It's like 3d6.
and it's like
for the laser
averages
cannon.
that it's higher and not like higher
7.
overall damage.
31, 31 plus 5 is 36 damage.
36 points of damage, really nice. Now
yes.
I will say it is 10 less than you'd hope that it would be,
Oh, because it's
but
slashing.
that's still because it's magic.
No, it's not magic. Oh,
No,
This is
the,
magic.
The construct is magic.
But still, tremendous effect. Very nice, Gibbs. And this rips through this huge blade of psychic matter, ripples through the asteroid. You can see like elements of the stone shatter and metal like tear. The ice, what little is left around the edges of the hangar bay, just cracks. And this whole area, like there is no sound in space, but you can almost hear this crack. Very nice. Anything else, Gibbs?
And then I just sort of position myself so I'm not blocking the hole that my friends are gonna hopefully return through.
Okay, no problem. So you do so. That is your turn, Gibbs. That brings us to this creature. So now, end over end, wheeling around, a massive amount of damage dealt to it. It is going to turn, and I believe the spells stop on this turn, correct?
Yep.
He has his full abilities.
Basically, yeah.
So all of a sudden, you see these thrusters flare out and kind of correct his course. And the red eyes turn, and there is a fire as he burns away and back towards the hangar bay. He is going to travel 120 feet, which will get him into the hangar bay. And then you see he like slams end over end, like screeching onto the metal. And then you watch as it climbs to its feet and thud, 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 out of sight and back into the asteroid.
Wait,
And
into the asteroid?
Yeah, the hangar bay is
When we started the battle.
I'm going to go ahead and take you all out of initiative as he makes his way deeper into the asteroid. And because it's 8 o'clock, this is where we're going to step away for a quick break. But you guys survived, technically. You are in a precarious situation. Using you guys, there was a lot of very, very clever uses of physics there. Gibbs, that was a great use of that. We're going to be back in 10 minutes. It is 8:03. We'll be back at 8:13. We'll see you then. we're back. Thank you for hanging out with us through the break if you did. If not, welcome back to Starfinder. We're doing a little Starfinder.
If not, sorry you're not here.
If not, sorry you're not with us.
What's wrong with you?
That goes out to these 7.7 billion people who are not watching right now.
Get in on this.
Pity on you,
on you.
yeah.
You're going to have to start session 1. So, when we left off, you had all finished, sort of, fighting this creature after propelling it into space and doing enough damage to drive it back into the hangar and then watching it disappear further into the asteroid. Now, as the chaos of battle dies down, most of you are aboard the ship. Bubs, you, and Echo are kind of like slowly like being pulled back in. But what would you all like to do? You are now either in space or in an airless ship.
Director, refill the. Oh wait,
Feel the
it
ice
can't
in the
because
fridge.
there's a hole in the side, right?
But is this door strong enough that it could if this door always stays closed?
So, creating oxygen is a challenging thing, and it requires specialized machinery to do. This recycles oxygen, and you have just vented out, I would say, probably about 60% of it. So, Kim starts getting nervous.
I'm recycling oxygen!
You're just venting carbon dioxide.
57.
I don't get how that
Hangar
works.
Bay have oxygen? Did it seem when we entered the gravity of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Echo would be able to tell you that.
Yeah.
I would like to go back to the cockpit and try to land this thing back on the hangar. In the hangar bay where the oxygen is.
Okay. So when you say land this thing, this remember the size of the hangar bay battlefield?
Oh, it's
Proportional
not gonna
to
fit.
your ship.
Oh, okay.
And so you can maybe jam your cockpit in there, but you wouldn't really be
Could
getting
we
your ship out.
Fit the airlock space through enough that if we opened the airlock, it could cycle through oxygen for us?
I mean, you probably would have some trouble forming a tight seal between your starship and a rigid asteroid.
Indeed.
But if you could, yeah, probably.
Guys, can we just take jars of oxygen and put them in the...
Literally infinite.
So,
Zero level spell.
cave entrance or hangar entrance. Can I take the ship and go like this and land it in the hole so that this opens up into the airlock space?
I see what you're saying. I mean,
Like a garden.
again, it's not like a flat, like
Right.
one-to-one
But
surface.
is there like a shield generation or something going on
I
that
see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
contains this energy field? Or
Yes.
this gravity field that I
Yes. And so, like, there is still just going to be that flash second where you will be, like, touching the void.
can... Yeah.
And you would imagine that is not going to keep oxygen on your ship or on, like, that. Yeah, I mean, that would probably work. There are some, like, little things that might happen that would be bad. Like, you wouldn't want to be, like, part of a depressurization event with just a tiny sliver of a hole between your ship and that, because then you get shredded like deli meat.
Yeah.
But, you know, that probably won't happen.
Wait, I got this. And I pull out, I got like a shit ton of aquarium tubing.
Yeah.
And I'm just
You
gonna
have
siphon the oxygen from the room that has oxygen and just like throw it over and then like let it. Cause you know what I'm trying to do? Like, we could siphon oxygen, it'd just be really slow.
I see what you're saying.
Because it would balance out because there's now a tube bridge. So I have a tube sock
I
between
mean-
us.
Make a physical sciences check.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Oh, what's the volume?
18 plus 5 because it's high end.
Is there a way to just land it in a way that it's not gonna float off?
Yeah, I mean, you have a really powerful computer that you could probably say, hey, just don't let the ship float away. Keep it here. And it would probably do that.
Yeah.
Cool. I want to.
Yeah, do that.
Cool. So you tell the director, keep the ship where it is. And the director says, yes, Shade.
And
Engaging stabilization.
I'm gonna go prepare the. This guy.
No problem. So you walk back away from the cockpit as the director takes over these very basic kind of keeping the ship steady and even with the spaceship, and you can go and you get the shuttle ready.
Wait, how far? Wait, why do we need a shot? How far are we now from the hole?
You're only about like 50 feet away from the actual hangar bay.
I don't remember how much feet of tubing I got.
You have 10 feet of aquarium tubing, so not enough. But I will also say with that physical
23.
sciences check, it would take close to 13 days for you to get like a rough, even
Equilibrium.
It would take a long time. And that's assuming that you're like actively using the ship's recyclers and you're not really doing much else.
It's like you're inflating like a beanbag chair, like a inflatable pool, and just
Right.
bringing it over and then letting it out.
It's almost slower than that.
Okay. Gibbs adds to her survival pack
Okay.
garbage bags
Okay.
and duct tape.
Oh, God. All right, Gibbs, you are taking a shopping trip for air. No problem. You begin to stack up. And before
believes
Gibbs,
it.
when Gibbs comes out of the med bay, it's bag lady. You know, Gibbs just has like 1,000 trash bags and like little Jacinto brand bags and like all the different bags that you have from throughout the campaign. No problem. So you are ready to go. What are the rest of you doing?
Imagine I'm floating with Echo, and I'm like pulling the cord of tape as we're getting closer.
Spice is like reeling them in on the other side of the tape.
No problem.
Setting the ship up to just be stationary close by here. And then getting this guy ready and calming everyone.
I plop myself next to you.
I'm gonna
Co-pilot Gibbs.
say over the comms, the ship is in need of repairs. We'll take the shuttle from here. Land in the hangar.
Does the repair droid thing that we got for the director?
Yeah, I meant to say I wanted to set that.
No
to
problem.
Start repairing as well. No.
So androids, as part of
Mentioned
you
it in
guys getting ready, you make the decision to have this finally do something.
It's
And
done
so you,
stuff. It's been a meat
it's done very
grinder.
few things.
Please start.
You press the on button on the Roomba and it's like,
There's a little ding ding ding, and you hear like a PlayStation not a sponsor style fan, like and like dust out from this droid. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, no problem. It starts up and it like lumbers its way over, and it begins to like scan this and figure out what it needs to do to repair it. But if you want, is there anything that you guys are doing before you board the shuttle and make your way over to the hangar?
I'm boarding the shuttle and lighting up a cigarette.
No problem.
hey, that
In
guy.
the oxygen of the shuttle?
We have very
I'm in the cockpit of this one.
we have very low oxygen levels. It would not be advisable to use more in such a way.
This one's fine, right?
No, because that uses the oxygen from here.
Fire needs a fuel source to burn on. Typically,
This-
oxygen. Yep.
This shuttle doesn't have its own oxygen system.
It does. It has its own oxygen system, but again, there's no genesis of oxygen happening. It's recycling it,
Right.
and you're filling a very contained space with like smoke and stuff.
I guess that's not considered.
When you're doing it in the large,
Alright, yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
it's
then.
enough to displace and like slowly filter
I
out.
forgot that people needed to breathe since it seemed like they didn't.
Yeah,
I'm wearing a fishbowl on my head. As you're
everybody
talking.
is behaving as if they can't breathe, but they do.
Think of Squeak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Squeak's fine. He's in the cockpit taking a nap.
Squeaks like panting, like can't breathe.
Squeak's got oxygen.
But you all can board the ship. Is there anything you want to do before you do so? Okay, no problem.
Hey, they warned us about that guy. I don't think this bounty's like so cut and dry.
You make your way across the sort of messy void of space now, little bits of tape flapping, elements of broken rock, but no problem. You make your way back into the hangar. And this is a place with stainless steel floors. There is just raw rock walls that form the caverns here, and you can see there is metal floors that disappear further into this drilled out section of the asteroid. 20 feet tall ceilings in this main shaft area. And I would say there seems to be something kind of left behind in that hall. There is all level of like kind of torn bits of metal, and there are empty crates, and there are fuel cells. You can see stacked elements of flooring that has not been installed yet. There are rips along the metal floor where this starship had once been and is now hurtling through space somewhere. But directly ahead, you can see that there is just a continuation and into the dark.
Can I detect magic in the
Yeah.
room?
No problem. You detect magic, and you can see this like trail that just disappears into the darkness.
Captain, what about that ship that we just saw go past us, Tombstone ship?
There's nothing we can do about that now. It's floating off into space.
Okay.
Is any of this stuff useful? Should we hoard it? I mean, there's like fuel and ship bits. This looks like a canister of some kind. Oh, it just has explosives.
Just has a big firebolt on the side of it.
The construct went down the main, like the one hangar entrance into the mines itself.
It seems as if there's only one. Oh, sorry. Hang on 1 second here. There are two ways that you can go. There's a place that goes to the left, the mine shafts A and B, and that's where you saw this magic trail go. And then there is another way, so it's like a T. It goes straight ahead and then a T intersection. Left, mine shafts A and B. Right, give me 1
Mine
second
shafts
here.
C and D.
Mine shift unnumbered, if I recall.
Not mine shaft numbered.
Not numbered.
Security room.
All right, probably check out the security room first.
Okay.
As,
Make my way in that direction.
as we're kind of looking around, Echo looks at the remaining items and supplies to see if any of that would be possibly useful for
Make an
like
investigation check, yeah.
engineering supplies.
For sure.
Could spice also.
Yeah.
What would an investigation check look like in Starfinder?
And Starfinder, a perception check, sorry.
Okay.
I always forget it's one of the two that is both, and I can't remember which one it is.
Can Bubs go on the infosphere and try to see if he can find a map of this asteroid?
Yeah,
here?
go for it. Make a culture or your bounty hunter check will work for this.
24.
24. With a 24, you begin to look around.
Nothing's like recyclable as a UPB.
Give me 1 second here.
Everything's recyclable.
I mean, if you were to start like, you could pull out these like flooring panels and like, yeah, theoretically, all of the physical mass in here you could shift and move as UPB. But in terms of stuff that is like easy to move and like break apart, there is really probably the only movable thing in here are these like fuel canisters. They're highly explosive and you can see relatively degraded, and so probably not the safest thing to be like trucking around.
How big are they?
They're pretty large. They're about 4 feet tall.
No.
Most you would imagine if there was stuff to take, it would have been aboard the Gravedigger.
25.
Okay. Well, the 25 you get on the infosphere. There is no maps about this kind of stuff. What was that?
Nothing, just heartbreak.
You don't find any maps
Yeah.
about this. This is like an old
Do
asteroid.
I
That's
find
kind
any
of
like
like a
pictures
fabled thing.
online or like video tours or like any promotional, anything I can find that could give us like location data?
With the 25, you do find something interesting.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second here. I'm going to pull up last week's notes.
Goodbye, ship full of treasure.
Goodbye, the reason why we have this bounty.
Bye, treasure.
Fuck. Now we become treasure hunters in space, just like Tombstone, looking for tombstones. Shit.
Okay, so give me just 1 moment here. You find and what you kind of gave everybody a lowdown of like what you saw aboard Canosa Station. Bob, so many people have died building this station, mining. There have been accidents. You read about places where the floors fall away and like these huge, 100, 200 foot deep chasms. There are places where because of the unstable and greedy mining practices, entire caverns have closed in. In fact, you do read that Mineshaft B almost entirely collapsed about 2 years ago. You also find a tremendous number of obituaries connecting there. And one of them kind of stands out to you. Their name is Maury Jean Rene.
What?
And this was the Canosa Station plant manager. They died at the age of 55, roughly 5 years ago.
Maury.
Jean Rene.
Jean Rene.
I remember you said Maury last episode. Or 2
Yeah,
episodes ago.
that was...
And you remember the person in that control tower named Maury. For what it's worth. Maybe a coincidence, but that's interesting.
How'd they die? Never mind.
How did they die? Well, you weren't there, but what I will say is this obituary, it says that they died too early. In most obituaries, they don't list, like, was brutally crushed to death in an industrial accident.
Died.
I hope mine
Exactly
says that.
when
I like that.
intended.
All wizards do.
Yeah.
Bubs is going to share this information, specifically noting about the Mori person, and then he's going to end it with me talking, going,
And also, they say that mine shaft B is like totally collapsed and everything, so like we can't go down there. And we could like tether ourselves to each other in case like one of us like falls to the ground, and then we could like like grab them so they wouldn't like fall like 200 feet or something.
Didn't we do that last time down an elevator shaft and we all fell like 200 feet or something? And you see Gibbs has started to take out her trash bags and is just like trash fairy running around with it open. Just
Yeah, no problem. So Gibbs is slowly creating bags of air.
yeah. So I've started a small pile of like various bags. Anything with holes in it, puts back in the pocket.
Okay, no problem. Shade, you head over towards the security room. Anybody else going with Shade, or anybody else going anywhere else? Yes,
Shade, be
it's
mindful.
Okay. What was your roll?
27.
27, same thing, yeah. Okay, no problem. So you guys don't find too much within this actual hangar space, but you do, in the majority of you, make your way off and towards this security room.
bless you.
You get to this the T intersection, and looking to the left, you can see it becomes like much shorter in terms of the ceilings to about 10 feet, and it becomes more rocky. But turning right, where you can see it indicates the security terminal, you can actually see there's an additional number of signs beneath that. Security terminal, staff room, locker room, armory. All these things off in this direction. And here, the floor is not quite as like carved out in mined stone. This is where these panels have been laid down. Steel floors about 30 feet out, and then all of a sudden, abruptly, it transitions into these prefabricated Jacinto. Give me 1 second here. It is called a Jacinto. I want to say it's called a works. It's like a modular hallway system called Jacinto workspaces, and these are things that you can just kind of like plug in and build modular space stations, mines, things that need to be airtight for whatever purpose. And so these are like, it's just a modular 10-foot wall tall and 10-foot wide hallway that just goes out and then to the left. You can see all the signs point in that direction. And here there are a few dim and dying LED lights, so not pitch black. You can see there are lines painted in various shades of purple along the floor, although many of them pretty fainted. And at the very end of this room, you can see there is a Jacinto brand door, quite heavy, probably a security door of some kind. And on the edge of the plate, there is a flickering light that indicates probably a card reader or card scanner.
Have the cards?
Echo's got
I
it.
have the card. I start heading towards that door, assuming that
I'm going to
Echo's
turn on my
still
flashlight
following.
so we have light.
Okay. Don't turn the flashlight on.
Green bean can.
Green bean can.
Echo remembering how Kenosis Station worked, which is just you walk up to the door and you just walk through door.
Yeah.
Approaches the door and sees if it opens automatically.
You walk up to the door and it does not. The power here kind of flickering. Okay.
What was it?
So you take out your
Energy cell?
Kenosis Station Minor Elmer Wickens card.
security card. That's what I'm looking for. ID
Never
card.
mind.
Whatever it is.
Leave
that.
multipass.
Yeah. Your multipass. Not sponsor. And you go to insert it, and it takes it about halfway before dun, dun, and like little red dots. And you would imagine a miner probably doesn't have clearance to a
There's a
security
locker
room.
room?
I'm hacking in,
It's a
Okay,
security
yeah,
room.
go ahead and make a computers check.
checking for obviously securities and whatnot.
Well, it's not obvious, so now you're doing that.
$22.
So you go ahead and you get close. You see this door, and as Echo puts the card in and it's rejected, you're like, I have a card that's not going to get rejected. And you go in, you open up your finger, you take out the you take out the USB drive and slotting it in. Suddenly, go ahead and make a fortitude saving throw, please. As that is a
Right.
Just to detect the security.
correct.
Wow. Fortitude
I
save?
mean, it is Jacinta.
Alright. That's gonna be 25.
Okay. With a 25, you feel a surge of data. As you connect, you don't even get to see the virtual landscape expand out in front of you. You immediately see this spark begin to jump forwards. And before you can even form the connection, you pull away and you see this huge of electricity that bursts out, scorching the ceiling behind you.
Ah!
Whoa.
And
You okay?
you imagine you just avoided about 20 points of electric damage.
avoided about 20 points of
You see the card reader flashes red 3 times and then goes dark. There is a little of smoke.
So it is like self-destructed.
It seems like you probably just overloaded it with that attempt, and probably in its degraded station, you either needed to insert a security clearance card, and even that probably would have eaten the card and disabled this, because this is like the last bit of power it had. And in fact, I would say with that computer's check, as you narrowly dodge that, you imagine many of the doors here have a sort of card reader that is on its last legs. If you insert your card, you're going to lose it. However, there's probably good stuff beyond those because it takes cards to open. From a mechanical standpoint, any security cards that you guys pick up, they will open doors. There are some doors that will eat those cards, and there's really good stuff behind those doors probably, because nobody's opened them yet.
Busting down the door.
Yeah.
Would there be a way to mechanically leverage this door via
Yeah,
some
absolutely.
engineering method?
You look over, you look at Bubs. Yeah, you could probably leverage the door open.
While they're doing that, are there other doors available, or is it just that security?
There's one other door. This is the
mine
door
shaft door?
that points over to the staff room and the staff/break room.
Nice.
This is what it's called.
Snacks.
What about the
I'm on
locker room? You said?
You would assume that's through the security door. Yeah. So you book it over to the lounge.
Also, the armory.
Echo, you turn over to the lounge. You would imagine the armory probably also through the security door. That's probably where the security stuff is. But you head around, and as you turn the corner, there's a sleek lounge of silver and white and purple that features rounded edges, cushioned sofas, armchairs, and there's actually a trio of office chairs near individual computer consoles. 2 of these consoles, like slag heaps, they have just melted down at some point, like the Juul vape pen's not a sponsor, like sparking and melting at some point. But there is one computer that is still intact, and you can see dim lights coming from the keyboard.
There's a computer here.
There is also coating this entire area. Well, actually, before I get there, you also see glowing off in the corner, and for you in particular, Gibbs, brings your attention, and Eats Meats snack stack vending machine. A space cola vending machine, and much smaller, about chest height, mounted. One of those things that has like antacids and all those things.
Oh,
that
yeah,
like crank. And that's actually, this is old enough where probably about 5 years ago actually discontinued, but this took physical credit coins that you could use. And so, pretty rare to find those coins.
Would I have some?
Yeah, you. for
would I-
sure.
yeah, I
For
would
sure
have
you
some.
Yeah, of course.
Echo looks at like the open floor plan office that's essentially laid out in front of them, and they just kind of look over. I believe that these offices were modeled after the Solarian vision of hell.
There are 8 or 9 dead pothos scattered around the room, so really kind of lending credence to that. There are withered air plants on shelves at different heights. Also, there are posters plastered throughout this room. This is just straight propaganda for Jacinta. You can see one that says, it pictures a man giving a big thumbs up. He's holding a credit card with a Jacinto crane on it and a slogan that says, spread your wings further with the new Jacinto crane card. You see a Jacinto calendar currently set to September 2245. There is a bright pink poster with the silhouette of a woman in a mohawk dancing, and you can see little small purple earbuds in there, and the word J-Buds, and then a looming ominous machine in the final poster, and the massive all capital letter message, do not bow to corpos, be an individual. And below that, the JCOM 39 in 4 shades of silver and 3 shades of purple. All of this just Jacinto propaganda.
That one reminds me of the director. I point to this super scary one.
What's this do not bow to corpos? Was that a propaganda poster, or is that something somebody
Make a
spray
culture
painted
check.
over?
While they're doing this, can I try to leverage the door with the
Nice.
shade?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and make an athletics check.
Can I assist with this?
Yeah, take a
mechanical
+4.
leveraging?
Take a +4 conditional modifier for shade helping.
Can I have a
It's
D6?
18
I
plus
don't know
5
what
plus
happened to my
4.
dice.
So
Oh, yeah,
that's
one, thank you.
22,
27.
27.
27. It's going to take you about 10 minutes. And this is, you just barely passed the DC,
Yeah.
such that it does take you a little bit of time and you have to like wrench it open. You're not able to force it. Physically, first of all, the first time that you try to, there's this like kind of spark again, the discharge from the door. But after that, I mean, this is close to 2 inches of steel. This is a reinforced security door. But with the hammer, using like elements of that and using like Shade, who's like calculating things and tells you like put your hammer here and then just kick the handle as hard as you can, things like that, you're able to eventually wrench the door open. But you're still doing that as Echo and Spice consider this.
Spice looks at this poster and goes, I know who wrote that because she rolled a 36.
With the 36, you recognize that Jacinto had a very popular
wrote that.
advertising campaign. It featured this person like running through this room of identical dressed Jacinto workers, and they're holding this Jacinto brand sledgehammer, and they take it hand over hand and like throw it through this big computer that's like just
That's
saying,
how Bubs
you
learned
know,
how to do that.
yeah, it's just saying buy Maxim Tech, and it's like shatters the screen, and it's a big like, you know, Maxim Tech is the big company, Jacinto is the little guy for like small artists, even though it's this huge corporation. But yeah, these are several pretty prominent advertising campaigns.
Can I take 10 to empty all of these vending machines?
Yeah, absolutely. You take 10, and so
and I
as
have the credits, so I'll start with the medic-y one, and then I'll go to the food one.
okay, so give me 1 second here. You open up the Eats Meats snack stack vending machine, and it is about half full. For what it's worth, the nearest expiration date to having passed was about 2 years ago.
Expiration dates?
Yes.
What's an expiration date?
This
It
eats-
stinks,
this
and then
eats meats.
Doesn't care about it.
Yeah, this Eats Meats seems to have expired about 2 years ago, and some of these packages are like a little stained, even though they're like the plasticky packaging, which is weird. Like the plastic is discoloring.
They're
Gibbs?
all puffy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, gross.
Gibbs regards the expiration dates like everyone else is regarding the propaganda, being like, yeah, okay, they just want more money.
Yeah, of course. The Space Cola vending machine, you can add 16 cans of Space Cola, 6 cans of Diet Space Cola, and 1 can of Orange Space Cola. Very briefly came out, not very successful. It doesn't taste like oranges. It tastes like Cheetos. And so not terribly
Gross.
successful. You also can add about a dozen antacids, antidiarrheals, and anti-fever medications. Although all very expired, and anti-fever medications in particular, just dust. As you like tear up one of the little packets, it's just into like the space.
Oh, wait, do I think that this is harmful if I fed it to somebody?
Yeah, but like harmful in the sense that they're probably going to get an upset stomach and not feel great. Not like mechanically harmful.
All right.
Flavor harmful.
Then I'll feed those to the
It
jar
is a
Okay.
harmful
because it's
flavor.
a little low because I'm feeling a little low.
You pop it in.
Is there like a, so this is like a break room.
Mm-hmm.
Is there cleaning supplies under the sink?
You go over. First of all, there is no sink.
Okay.
You'd imagine that's probably like in the bathroom, and they probably use that one.
Costs money.
What?
Water costs money.
Water does cost money. And to that point, you know, none of the pothos are alive. There's clearly no automatic irrigation system like many places have now. And so probably not a ton of like cleaning supplies or water around here. It is also quite dusty.
Echo goes over to the one remaining desk while Gibbs is taking 10, and they take 10 to like paw through the desk's remains and see what the contents are, see what
Yeah.
they left behind.
The desk it's literally less of a desk, more of a table that this machine is propped up on. And so like there's no drawers to really go through. However, as you are like looking around and you bump this, and it has a physical like attached key mouse, very similar to the one that you saw in the Chachawak Genetic Solutions, the screen suddenly brightens and your eyes have to adjust as it becomes quite bright. And you can see the monitor, first of all, has burned into it the Jacinto logo. It's probably just sitting on that screensaver for like a year before it kicked off. But now that it kicked on, you can see it is open to the interior Jacinto email account. And you can see in the top right-hand corner, it reads deactive, not connected to the infosphere. This person their account probably deactivated, but it is still set and open to the last time that they were reading their emails. And you can see burned into the screen, the first one says, "Hey, are you okay? I heard there was an incident at the bottom of Mineshaft A. I know you work up near the top, but everything good? Dear Desma, I heard people died. Please get back to me and let me know. Arlanti." And then the next one reads, "Hey Arlanti, yeah, there was a malfunction in the sump pump and the excavation platform, and the plant manager went down to look with his team. I heard only he came back, and he looked bad. It doesn't seem like a floor collapse, but the higher-ups are keeping quiet. I'll see what they say at shift change tomorrow." And that's signed Ash. There is, you can see, like just the edge, a third email. The other two are burned into the screen. This one is down. You'd have to like scroll up. The mouse is falling apart. This computer's on its last legs, and so this is a computer's check if you want to keep this alive to be able to read this final email.
Yeah. Continuing the theme of mediocre rolls.
It's pretty low DC.
It's 27.
You scroll down. You don't use the mouse. You disconnect it, and you directly connect into this computer. And using your own interior processes, you scroll down and you read, "Arlanti, there is a situation. All we know is that something down there. It's worse than the spiders. Tao, Lin, Westwind, and I are all going to go check it out. I'll tell you what happened later." And then a fourth email, dated 3 days after that. Ash? Question mark.
Is it Desma or Ash?
For that one, the last one is so Desma, for what it's worth, is a god, and so Dear Desma is like Jesus Christ, you know.
Gotcha.
Arlanti is the first person who is
And then
sending
Ash
email,
is
and then
the-
Ash is the
yeah.
second person.
Ash is the one at the desk, basically.
So the first email is from Arlanti. The second two emails are from the person at the desk, Ash, and the third email that just says Ash is from Arlanti.
Can Spice query the obituaries that Bubbles was looking up and look for these names, including a Lovin's name?
Make a cultures check.
Don't mind if I do.
Oh, so close.
Well, let's see. There's so much math. So 27.
So you find the obituary that Bubs was talking about, this one for Maury Jean Rene. You look for a Lovin. You look for trying to figure out the spelling that Echo had for Kipsy. And those don't come up. But what I will say is with the 27, you do find on one of these like old message boards that's been long inactive, probably for the last couple of years, somebody posting about what's happening at Canosa Station. People died and then nothing. And there is no obituaries for Alovin, for Kipsy, for any of these people, but there's no news about anybody coming back either.
Necromancy.
Or maybe they didn't write obituaries because then that would be a company admitting fault.
There is a as you tear the door away. And in front of you, 1 second here.
Nice, we did it.
Boys!
You can see
Boys.
Little baby boys!
a little different than the androids call. You can see there is a small circular room, probably about 40 feet wide, just through like a 10-foot long hallway. And you can see the exterior 10 feet of this entire space have stations along the walls, kind of facing away. And you can see up on the walls and the ceiling monitors. And so this is like probably like a security control monitors. Most of them dead. It's almost a completely dark room, but here and there, there's just little flickers of light that you can see, indicating that there is life to this machinery, although currently not a lot of it. You can also see through this room on the far side, there is a sign above a door that reads locker room / armory. Very similarly, there is a similar kind of door to the one that you just breached to get in. This one has an additional kind of plating cover around the side of it, and so this seems even more secure. However, different to the other one, you can see there is what looks like a clear window, although you assume not glass, probably something a little bit more durable. And through it, you can see, give me 1 second here. Oh gosh, I need a new computer so bad. You can see there is a roughly 10 by 20 room full of lockers. Many of them are open. You can see a few like Canosa Station uniforms hanging off them. You see some flashlights. You also see on the long wall at least 2 pistols. You see a grenade that's like on the floor underneath there. There are certainly some other things in there as well.
Is there a way that I could try and get enough power to stably operate on this system, just to see
Make a mechanics
what is?
Well, Shade kind of begins to look and consider what's going on.
Engineering check, you mean?
Sorry, yeah, engineering
Can
check.
I assist? Can I try something?
What do you want to do to assist?
Got a new spell here. Probably not gonna work. But if it's power that we need, Spice is going to draw her hand from one hand across her chest and do the Uncle Iroh channel lightning pose. Touch wherever Shade needs her to touch, and cast Jolting Surge as she brings electricity into the door.
Everybody was trying not to laugh. Okay, so no problem. You like point over, and with a 28 and the assistance, yeah, I know, right? Oh, sweating a little bit. You are able to jolt, and through this jolt, you can see and kind of feel through your diagnostics where the wires are running and what systems are kind of smoking out, and like what you could really kind of work with here. Certainly, there is enough power here to do one of 2 things. And by shifting all the power into one of these 2 systems, you are basically isolating it there. But you could, with a good computer's check, you could theoretically control or completely restore the security console and thus have access to cameras across much of Siren. Siren 308A. You can see there are like terminals labeled to Mineshaft A, Mineshaft A lower, Mineshaft A level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all these different like layers. You can see like various different rooms, or you could put power to this door and you could open it.
What is that door?
Now, Shade, for what it's worth, if you had like a security card, if anybody had maybe pressed for more cards.
Here's the pressing for more cards. I'm near the vending machine and I'm thinking about how people pull out their wallets and maybe drop things. So Gibbs is like on the floor looking for the change and the security cards that are slipping underneath this vending machine she's obsessed with. With her tiny little, just so cute.
Make a perception check.
If you roll a 20, you find one.
17 plus perception is 13.
Okay.
So that's 30.
Okay, yeah, you
That's
reach
pretty
underneath
good.
and
What do I get?
your hands find 3 credits worth of hard credit coins, but no wallets just sitting under there.
Damn it.
That would be convenient, but no.
So drop my wallet and all.
Now, what I will say is if you did have a security card, you could probably open the door without needing to shift these things around.
Yeah.
It would burn the card out and you would lose the card,
And
but
rationally thinking, having access to the cameras is more useful and
Then the
locating.
unknown of a really cool door.
no,
that
well,
they
it's
definitely
as you
want to
consider that,
seeing
and
all the
as
stuff in there. Right?
as you are considering that and Spice is helping you out, is there anything that you're doing?
First, Bubs would say,
Well, if there's a security door that's locked, I mean, they'd probably, make sure that it's really secure and maybe even trap it because, they don't want people going into the security room or specific rooms in it.
There's nothing worth our time in there. It's better to get the.
Echo, what are you doing?
Echo comes back in at this point and says, "Have we gotten the locker room door open?"
We need a key card.
Can we
Security
not
clearance.
just brute force the door as we did the last
Oh,
one?
yeah, I could do that.
I'm gonna brute force this one because I feel like they're not gonna trap a locker room door. I feel like.
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, are you just taking 10 to do that?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, no problem.
Taking
You can-
10? So long. I lift up the keyboard Keycard?
He looks at the keyboard, and you see a desiccated, dried up spider that is so long dead. There's like no food for it to eat here, and so it's just okay.
Just
You eat it, and even that is gone now.
as Bubs is like 1-2ing the door.
Yeah,
Just gotta get my fingertips in.
If we are in need of a security card, perhaps there was one left behind in the locker room.
Couch cushions?
Or the locker
you
room.
rip it. And there's just like foam going everywhere. No.
Gibbs at this point is just having fun.
Yeah, Gibbs is just causing chaos.
I'm thinking about all the places that I lose my things, and I'm like,
So-
Keycard?
Bubs is taking 10 to bust on this door. Is there anything that you are kind of like considering this and
Yeah, I'm trying to get the.
No problem.
I want to get access to the cameras.
okay.
I want to do that.
So you take the power and using that last check, you shunt it over. And you see it begins to like boot up. Everything powers down, and then you can see like the percentage sign going. And so as like it's like you hear Bubs punch the door, and then it's like 10% more. And then punches it, and then 20%.
Get in there.
And so almost simultaneously, the cameras all turn on, bathing the entire room in light. Some of them are dark, and you can see probably the physical camera like destroyed. Many of the mineshaft B cameras completely dark. You do see one or two that are active. One that is like immediately in front of you, like rubble has fallen down, and though the feed is active, you can see like a cave-in clearly happened here. Make a perception check as you kind of see that image for the first time. And Bubs, you knock the door open. And Bubs, if you can go ahead and make a reflex saving throw, please.
Okay.
Or sorry, a fortitude saving throw, please.
Oh, 14 plus a lot.
8 for perception.
14 plus 9. So
Very
that's
nice.
1d3.
So what was your perception?
28.
You see, like, through all this little bits of like wreckage, even in this like black and white kind of green infrared camera view, you see little wisps of what look like silk strands, maybe spider webs.
Oh shit.
Which camera is it?
This is the camera that is in the collapsed tunnel of Mineshaft B. Although with that little wisp of movement, as you kind of like unfocus your eyes and look, here and there you do see little flutters of webs elsewhere. Bubs,
Yep.
as you pry the door open, there is a of like colorless, to you and also everybody else, odorless gas that into your face.
I still have my helmet on.
Yep, and with a 16, or sorry, with a 23, yeah, no problem. This, like, across your face, it goes across the mask. It doesn't seem to affect you. However, certainly a trap. Not a good trap, but you're fine.
Yeah.
For the rest of you, I would say anybody who has any kind of like environmental detection, like begins to like go off.
I don't think they're there.
There is poison in
around.
the room, but as it dissipates, not enough to hurt anybody, and you see in front of you the locker rooms.
I'm gonna go in the locker room, then like point with Echo.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah, two of you make your way in, and go ahead and make perception checks as you look through. There are lockers, there are like benches and all kinds of things.
Echo would probably take their time doing this.
Okay,
19.
19.
So
29.
Okay. Bubbles, you find a incendiary grenade 3. You also find, hanging up on one of the lockers, a very nice looking holster. This is a traction holster. Something that you can use to like, I believe is like a quick action. You can like holster something. It has a cool effect to it. And then you also find 4 batteries. Echo. With your check, you see all that kind of stuff. There is 2 Kenosa Station security uniforms, and attached to one of those, you do find a security.
Oh, Echo, you did find one.
You also find 4 clip-on flashlights and a flare, single flare. You find a level 7 motion detector. And then hanging on the wall, each in a different holster, 2 cavitation pistols. They are inertial.
How do you spell?
Cavitation is C-A-V.
cavitation.
Yeah, cavitation.
Like that word makes more sense.
Oh, cavitation.
Yeah, like-
capital Q.
No, I think
Capital Q.
decapitation.
Forming. No, I got you. Yeah, cavitation.
Echo takes the 2 pistols off the wall and says, Bubs, I have potentially found something useful. And tosses one of the pistols to Bubs.
And what was your check?
Perception?
Yeah,
29.
29. With the 29, that is just high enough that you are about to open one of these closed lockers, and then you realize it's kind of bulging a little weird, and you also realize there is like little bits of decay around the corner. There is definitely something like leaning against this door, and when you open it, it will fall out. And so you step back, you open it, and suddenly dead Yosoki, shriveled, almost like mummified, suctioned to the bones, wearing Kenosa Station coveralls, and you can see a little badge clipped to their chest as well.
Snoot Whisker Pull?
Echo kind of like stops Bubs and looks up and tries to be as quiet as possible and says, Do not let Gibbs see this.
Oh, yeah.
Say nothing.
Okay.
You're just putting it back in the locker?
The corpse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Gibbs is skittering around, kind of like having exhausted all of the resources of like the couch cushions because that didn't take very long.
Yeah,
and,
no,
like,
you ripped everything up.
yeah, I can't really like get under the vending machines. Is starting to like be done with the like. Gibbs is looking for places that there could be IDs based on her, like where she loses things.
Yeah.
And so we'll take that journey.
Okay.
Where is she going?
The journey to where you think an ID badge
Like where
might
we
be?
like yeah. Like is there any like
You've taken that journey. You've taken that journey twice. You've taken that journey 3 times. And it doesn't seem like the destination is what you have in mind.
fine, then I show up with these guys.
Sure, no problem. You show up with these guys. And no problem. So all of you now in this locker room, you have found these various bits. If you have not hid this Yosoki, there's just a dead... Okay, no
Yeah,
problem.
put it back.
Did you take the
Was
other pistol
there
that I had?
anything else on the camera feeds, like signs of the robot that ran away or anything?
The robot.
With that check, no. You do not see the robot on any of the camera feeds. You
No.
do see there are places that are like lit up a little bit with like more activity, and so there are lights on in several places. Not all of these look like there's like active activity. There are a few places where there are these big like floodlights that are still on and still kind of bathing the entire place, and so you can see areas where the stone has been carved away in like square chunks, and there's like a whole process that was just paused as people were no longer here.
No signs of Tombstone or Crumb or anyone.
You
though?
do see there is it's labeled Mineshaft A elevator entrance, level 1. Same level that you're on. And this level, you can see in the infrared light and the total darkness of this room, it seems to be picking up right through the center of the room a single strand of spider silk. And that just disappears into the caved-in section of the Mineshaft B entrance. And with that check, this feels like a tripwire. If you are to go into that room, you probably don't want to touch that.
Noted.
With that, most of the cameras span levels 1 through 5. Many of the cameras in Mineshaft B, levels 1 through 5, dark. You can see like many dark rooms here, and I would say that's pretty much it. There is Mineshaft A level 5, a whole bunch of cameras that seem to be illuminated, and this seems to be the level where there is actual ceiling lights that have been left on. This seems to be a place where people are, if there is somebody who is like actively doing stuff, and they're not somebody who like just lives in the dark, this is where they would be. And it's noticeable. You can actually turn and like even just spinning around the room once, there's like one row of monitors that is much more lit up than the rest.
Okay. I will note that to like the comm group, like possible location.
Okay, no problem.
I send the
5A.
word possible back, but I spell it PAW.
No problem. You mean possible, Gibbs?
Can I detect magic through the spaces we've unlocked? Anything else?
Detect magic. Detect magic. For what it's worth, not a single shred of magic in this room. You remember the magic disappeared down towards my chapter.
Yeah.
You guys went the other way.
I wanted more magic.
Limited magic in the sci-fi world.
I would like to make my way towards Mineshaft Day.
All right, Ori, you make your way towards Mineshaft Day. Kind of meet up with Bubs and Echo, probably as they're exiting the armory / locker room. Well, you guys are over in the
You're looking
other.
for coins.
Yeah, you're in the staff
You're
room.
trying to
I'm just like fucking around.
Gibbs rejoined you
Yeah,
guys.
everyone's back
Oh,
together.
okay.
Yeah, we're all like fucking around together.
Right.
I also went to fuck off, by the way.
Yeah. Why am I getting in trouble?
Well, yeah, but you weren't
Other
tearing up
side.
seat cushions and like throwing things.
It was a
around.
good idea.
No, I agree.
So I guess if we're all together, I would motion towards the mines and
Okay.
be on alert for our.
For reference, Echo has
Space
concealed
spiders.
compartments in their upgrade slot now. Boop.
Okay, no problem. All the security cards disappear.
Bubs is going to give the cavitation gun to Shade.
Okay.
It's here.
Cabot.
It's a cavitation pistol. It's a level 8 weapon.
Whoa.
Oh, nice.
Is it small arms?
It is.
Oh, I can do both.
Here.
I'm gonna just add it. Thanks, though. Cool.
And I'm gonna keep everything else.
Why would I type in cavitation pistol? Is the autocorrect cavitation pistol shrimp?
No, I saw that
Because
too.
because cavitation pistol shrimp are the pistol shrimp
yeah.
specifically that are the punching ones. I
The
think.
ones
Yeah.
that do the sonic boom with their click.
Because there's several different ones. There's the ones that are
rainbow.
not. I think the cavitations are the harpoon ones, and then the ones that just do the punching are different kinds of
Those
pistol
are
shrimp.
the rainbow.
Yeah.
Rainbow pistol shrimp.
So, going down Mineshaft Day?
Yeah, is it. I'm guessing there's like bay doors or something.
So you walk
in
back the way
mineshaft
that
or
you
something?
came, and you get to that T intersection. You see the hangar to the left, and then straight ahead of you is that kind of more rustic mine shaft.
Where did we see that spider web? Was that on the camera or was that
Yeah,
in
on the
okay,
camera.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, which I pointed out.
Yeah.
I gave the location of
Yeah, no.
the spiders and the possible
good.
location of. Where
You
they
haven't
might
really
be.
seen spiders yet.
Well, the silk.
Yeah, if Bubs
Maybe
sees
it's
any
silkworms.
I saw a spider.
Also, told about
I ate
spiders.
If Bubs sees any silk, he'll probably stop.
I also just said be on the lookout for the spiders.
These are crumbling caverns with jagged bits of rock that are kind of hard to predict. They stick out in places, and so you do need to pick up a little bit, go a little slower in terms of just making sure you're not falling down and like breaking your stuff. There is artificial gravity here, and that does seem to pull water from the exhaust vents above down below. And so there are places, though this is like relatively smooth stone, where stalactites have formed. And you can see they have just like dripped down from the ceiling, but they're very specific patches. And in the center of each of those clusters, you can see grates, which is where that exhaust is probably drawn up and then the condensation is coming down. You can see here and there are plates of steel that have been laid down to create safer walkways where the crumbling stone has become especially dangerous. And Bubs, Shade, you are leading this group. So go ahead and make a perception check as you walk.
As we're walking, Bubs is going to have the ion tape harness still on him.
Okay.
And he's going to offer it to anyone if anyone wants it.
I like how, so in Bubs's mind, Bubs is walking around in like safety gear,
Yeah.
and he's like, hey, does anybody else want like some really professional grade safety gear? But to everybody else, this is like a kid with his blanket pinned to him and he's like a superhero. It's like, it's a tape diaper. like not just a diaper, it goes like around the whole ways. It kind of looks like shorts that go like with the suspenders, you know what I'm talking about?
Duct tape grandpa would be very proud.
Yeah. But no problem. You have the ion tape, you're walking, and there's like the little as you walk because it does move the tape back and forth. But you make your way through. What was that check? 22. With a 22, there is a point where you recognize an area where the steel plates have been laid down. The stone has crumbled away and away. It's right underneath one of these areas where the water is coming down. And so right before stepping on it, you can see the stone is crumbling all around the edges. And had you put your weight on this, the plate would have collapsed in. you would have fallen. And like now, squinting through, this grate has been laid across and the light filtering down through it. You can see perhaps close to a 30-foot fall, and then like the stalagmites that are sticking up at the end. This is basically a spike pit that has been developed through very poor maintenance.
I wonder what Gosha thinks about this place.
Oh, Gosha would be furious. You see, so for what it's worth, you have seen zero Gosha signage.
Oh my
Jacinto seems to not be following Gosha standard procedures for this entire place.
I like file that in the back of my head. I'm like, this is an angry email I'm gonna write later from a different account.
Absolutely. Gosha is the Galactic Office of Safety and Health Administration or whatever it is. But, so you were able to circumnavigate that if you wish.
No, I want to walk right over it.
You're just like, Bubs, walk ahead.
You got this one.
Look straight up and spread your cheeks. You walk, bypassing this, and as you do, there are the caverns and Bubs.
Yeah.
After about 2 or 3 more minutes of passing, you see the first sign, just kind of hanging from the ceiling, ripped bits of silk,
Alright.
cobwebs.
Would I be able to just take a little bit of the silk off?
Yeah. You go, and as you reach and you pull, it's sticky, and you pull just expecting it to pull away, and it doesn't.
Okay.
And you pull and you pull.
it's
Make an
Spider-Man.
athletics check.
Okay.
It's Spider-Man.
That is a 12 plus
You know how spiders, when you pull on the stuff in their webs, it's like,
18.
A sensor.
yeah, do I see that it's attached to something else as he's
With
pulling
an
it?
18, ting, you snap it,
Okay.
and you watch that strand goes back and back and back into the wall.
That definitely tripped them up.
It doesn't seem as if it connects to anything else.
Never mind, it doesn't do that.
Don't touch them.
Spice,
Okay.
watching you fuck around with shit is going to take the end of the ion tape and wrap it around herself. And go,
Okay,
"This
so now
For safety.
a
Bubs is a
dog."
leash kid.
Yeah.
No problem. I was a leash kid for what it's worth.
No.
I was a leash kid.
I have to
No
say this.
way.
I have to say this just in my mom's defense. My mom did not want me to be a leash kid. She wanted nothing more than for me to be a safe, normal child. But I was a runner. And so the second they took me into a public place, if it was busy, I literally ran. I would sprint as fast as I could. I have no memory of this, but like the middle of the train stations, I would book it. And so I had to be on a leash. And my mom was like, God, I felt like such a bad, like people probably thought I was a bad parent walking around with this big, it was a neon green metal cord that would like go around my wrist with a strap and I would like fall down. It was great. Anyways, not my mom's fault, entirely on me. I was a leash kid for my own purposes. Anyways.
Yeah, so Bubs is going to take the silk,
Okay.
and he's just going to take a lighter to it, the old school lighter that he has
Sure.
in Horace Bay, and he's going to see if it's flammable.
Okay. Ting. It like kind of smolders a little bit and burns, and over time, yeah, it's not especially flammable.
Okay.
But it will burn.
Okay. He's just going to show the group that.
Looking at the size of the thread,
Sure.
as I'm sizing up what a normal spider does, what do I think about
Make a
this?
natural sciences check.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
smart.
Natural sciences?
I'm just looking. I'm
Physical
Physical
sciences.
sciences?
Sorry.
I'm
Yeah.
Or life
pathfinding.
science.
Or life sciences. is what
Ah,
I'm trying to
yeah.
There's two.
Signs
There's
of-
both.
Physical sciences is for like rocks and stuff.
Physics.
This is life science.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to find the path of where this thing has been going.
Okay, make a perception check because here the caverns do open
And
up, but there's
or
more than
signs
just
of,
one
like,
way.
Crumb or tombstone.
26.
With a 26, you look at this and you think about like you pull the spider out from your mouth and you look at it and you look at the string and you kind of hold its butt up. And it's not a scientific process by any means, but Gibbs, you would imagine these spiders big. You
Big
look at the one in your
spiders.
hand, really big, and then you look and kind of like think about holding it in your arms.
Yeah.
Then you think about like the Alexa drone, probably about that big.
I share that information, and then
Right back in. Already been chewed spider.
I got a dirty 30.
With a dirty 30, you kind of look, and it's hard because you can see as you get further and further into these caverns, the silk becomes a little heavier and a little heavier. And I would say with a 30, you get the sense that it's not. Sorry, what were you looking for?
I'm looking for basically signs of activity that would lead to either the robot
Okay.
or if there was anything about tombstone and Tombstone and Crumb.
Okay, sorry. So, absolutely, you can see areas along the ceiling where stalactites have chipped away and they're on the ground. You can see like fresh stone. It hasn't oxidized. So this is probably the robot like crashing through here and these things falling. And here and there, there's like some that are still attached to silk and that still like hang from the ceiling. And so, yeah, this is the direction that this robot came in. You do not find any sign of Crumb, any sign of Tombstone. But with a 30, what I will say is you do the thing that nobody ever does, and you look up. And looking up, you do see a section of silk that is round, that is very tightly wrapped. Not an egg sac. You see a humanoid hand protruding through, and at one point, certainly a member of that crew, perhaps. You don't really, it's not a Yosoki paw, and so it's not Tombstone, it's not Crumbs.
Gravity gun to try to pull the body down?
Yeah, you can try. As you gravity gun it kind of like, and you see the hand like, and you hear like a little snap, but it doesn't pull the silk. The silk is pretty, it's like, it's anchored to be a meal later probably,
Yeah. Okay.
which for what it's worth, you would imagine. Yeah.
Something's around. I will say there's something nearby.
Wait. Up.
Make an
Up, up, up.
athletics check. Do you have a climb speed?
No, but I'm upping so someone lifts me.
Oh, okay.
Up.
So
I
it's
can
only-
ask a question of it.
It's only about 10 feet to the ceiling.
Spice will
Nice.
like go down
Okay.
on one knee and go.
No problem. So you get down on one knee and you like boost Gibbs up, and Gibbs, you get like just a moment of air time where you're just like, oh, this is so nice. And you see just like this hand, decrepit and shriveled, reaching out.
Cool. I want to just like take my claw, cut the silk around where the like face would be based on the body shape,
Okay.
so I can get access to the face
Okay.
and cast grave words on the corpse.
No problem. So Gibbs, you take your Yosoki claws and you down this silk sack, and as it opens up, this putrid, awful smelling just bile ruptures out. You see like bones collapse out, elements of like hair and teeth just slag off your face. Spice, you are underneath Gibbs, and so this all just washes over you.
Over her like helmet, she just gets this like wash of like
Yeah.
bones and vomit.
Yeah, you just see like a tooth go down, and this creature seems to have been dissolving in this sack, digesting for like food purposes, and so it has become almost like a liquid. You do see a skull in there, a humanoid skull,
Oh.
and so if you only need a skull,
I do only need a skull.
then you could
Mouth.
probably.
Because Gibbs is unbothered by the bile,
Yep.
we'll also do just like a quick look for an ID card.
Yeah, sure. Make a perception check.
16.
A 16. You don't find an ID card, but for what it's worth, there is a little bit of clothing left in here that the bones are kind of within. Not a Canosa Station coverall. This is freebooter armor. And so this is probably a member of Tombstone's group or some other
All right.
treasure hunter.
Cool. I ask it. I touch the skull. I can't ask it a question, but I can. It might tell me something interesting.
I got killed by a big ass spider.
Hey, yo, look at that spider! No.
Oh,
you go up,
shit.
you cut this open, this bile down, it washes over Spice. Spice, there's like finger bones in your hair, but you watch as Gibbs is just like, oh, cool, and like scampers down and like picks bits of like old flesh and stuff off, and then you hold up the, you hold up the skull and you cast grave words on it. The jaw hangs open, and squeaking out between this, it is going to say, "It will use you just like it did Tombstone. You have the..." And that's it. It will use you just like it used Tombstone, and it will.
Cool. Everyone heard that, so I don't have to relay it, but I just look sheepish at it, because I definitely am trusting Tombstone, and right now, Tombstone's on my ally list. But quietly, Tombstone's on my ally list. No one else knows that.
Yeah.
But,
He's a bounty.
No worries.
yeah, well, it's not the first time that gives his allegiance to a bounty.
So, no problem. It's like one of, I think there's maybe like one time where you haven't been
Right.
totally allies with the
Gee,
bounty.
let me be your friend.
Yeah.
Stop hitting me.
So
So far, it's worked.
you put the head back down on the floor, and are you all continuing?
I keep the head. I
Okay.
take it with me.
No problem. You can add one really gross skull.
It
to your
deserves a
inventory.
better burial than here.
Continuing along the path that was presumably set by this giant robot,
Okay.
getting ever more cautious of spiders and being very wary not to trigger any wispies.
This is the mine shaft, correct?
Yes.
Mineshaft A.
A.
And we've already passed Mineshaft B, or
Mineshaft
No,
B,
so
there's an
there
elevator.
There are signs,
room
and I
that
would
goes
say you can still, you're
down.
following signs that say Mineshaft A, and then 2 Mineshaft A elevator, 2 Mineshaft B entrance. And so you're heading in the direction of all those things.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
and we're gonna go
to Mineshaft A, obviously.
Mineshaft A elevator down to level 5.
And you had seen that elevator room, and actually, great
And
that we
that
have an
was
elevator now.
Yeah.
There is an elevator. There is the entrance to Mineshaft B in that same room that is like collapsed in, and the elevator goes down into the further
And that's where the
levels
spooters
of
are.
Mineshaft A.
Or where signs of spooter life was.
I think, like, hearing that, Echo relays the information they learned from the emails.
Okay.
It would be wise to be on our guard, as it seems as if most of the employees of the Jacinto Corporation mining operation did not return.
There's something scary down there, right?
Something other than spiders.
Something other than spiders.
Something like a
Something,
siren sapphire.
something that will attempt to use Gibbs.
Siren. And I think putting all the pieces together about it's gonna use you, it's already being really attractive to me. Siren being the story of like a mermaid that lures ships to its death.
Mythical creature sirens
Yeah.
using their alluring voices
Right.
to lure unsuspecting sailors to their doom.
Gibbs sort of pockets her feelings a little, but definitely like checks herself and is like, oh shit. Like,
Okay.
But we'll sort of like make that realization. Oh man.
Okay.
Okay.
Everyone
Sexy
be
mermaid.
on guard.
Are we gonna use the elevator?
What
We
is
need
worse
to see
than
if it's
spiders?
operational first.
Worse than spiders, like dragons, or robots, or
Rust.
public speaking.
Bubs is gonna add all these to his list of fears.
Okay.
Everyone be on guard. Look for anything that might give us more information about what we're heading into.
In other words, you want us to be mindful.
Ha. Ha.
Yes.
Shade says as he begins to walk, and the rest of you follow, presumably.
Spice has one of her guns drawn.
Sure.
Gibbs has no guns drawn,
No
but
problem.
on guard nonetheless.
You walk. The caves begin to get a little bit more claustrophobic. The ceilings never get much lower than about 8 or 9 feet, but the walls do close in a little bit more, and the silk becomes a lot heavier. And Bubs, because you were the person most looking out for it, you were the first person to notice here and there as any signs of light come across, Echo's eyes, or any of you who are using flashlights, little spiders now in the silk. Small. And when I say small, large for a normal spider,
We're
like
about to get
tarantula
into some
size.
fucking-
Oh, like, yeah, okay.
Do I see one like in front of me? Can I get like kind of close to one? Or...
So every time that the light hits them,
That's what I
they
was
seem
gonna
to
say.
scatter
That's what I
away.
was gonna say. Yeah.
So you would need to kind of like create a condition that was dark and then sneak up and grab it, which would be hard
No,
for
I was
you.
I was
Oh, we
literally
need to
going
have
to just see if my flashlight made
filter.
it.
Oh yes, it
uncomfortable.
certainly does. Yeah.
So I'm gonna relay that information to the group.
Guys, it seems like they don't like light. I also like we all have lights on our suits, so
Spice shuts off all the lights on her suit and then activates the armor upgrade that has 60 feet of dark vision.
Nice.
Very nice. So in your one good eye, the armor that like kind of covers the helmet that is allowing you to would allow you to breathe in space, the heads up display suddenly just shifts and darkens first, so it just becomes almost like an opaque black screen before it just green night vision.
Nice.
I can't do that.
You turn down your
Turns the
eyes.
dimmers down.
I have exceptional vision already.
There you go.
I also have an armor upgrade
Yeah.
that allows me to have vision. I forget what it's called.
It's called poked holes in the eyes.
No, it was when I swapped the radiation badge.
Corrective
for you.
lenses.
Well, you have the radiation
You have the
badge, and I
radiation
have the
badge.
other
No,
one.
we swapped it. I remember we did.
No, because you
other
wanted
way
the
around,
radiation
other way around,
badge.
yeah.
Yeah, you wanted
You swapped it
No, we
twice
swapped
now.
it back though.
No, we didn't.
Pretty sure no.
That's what I'm using right now.
Yeah.
Is the armor upgrade you're trying to use?
Because
you just
because I
kinda-
know that Spice has had it upgraded, and you haven't, and it doesn't just attach. But think about that. Some of you can see, some of you cannot, and we'll find out who in just a moment. You can see down and through this space there are little black spiders, and the eyes shine with this dark crimson, almost Pinot Noir color from within. As you are walking, you do. Oh, sorry.
Did you tell us you got a flare? Because Gibbs has a flare gun,
Infrared
and you would
sensors.
know that Gibbs has a flare gun.
Isn't a flare like ammunition?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
was
but
the
you need a
name of
flare
your
gun to use the flare. What was that?
I loaded it onto
did I say?
my cavitating pistol.
Okay,
I'm sure I wrote it down. I got it.
cool.
I have many flares.
Nice. Dope.
I'm still looking. I'm following the path,
no problem.
and I'm keeping eyes out because now
These
it feels like
little
we're
black
getting
spiders are
we're
crawling
getting
around.
closer to the mother spider.
I don't know.
And your exceptional android vision picks up a large bulkhead door in front of you. Looming in the darkness, you can see there is just a little power left. This is another one of those doors that if you have a miner's badge, you could probably just open up for free. However, there is just enough power that you could attempt a computer's check to get through. This is a Jacinto branded door, not a Canosa one, and so you would imagine similar to the electrical jolt you got in the last one, similar countermeasure.
But it's a Jacinto door, so a Canosa station miner probably wouldn't be able to get in, yes?
A lot of they've been using this like Jacinto modular stuff, and so this seems to be a cooperative venture between Jacinto and Canosa.
Can I cash in Miner Elmer Wickens?
You certainly can. You take minor Elmer Wickens and you into the door, and it sucks the entire card in. The door open, and then sparks, and the card has been eaten.
No more mine.
When you say eaten,
Yeah.
it's not like Banksy where it's shredded. It's just inside the little housing of the card, right?
As far as you can tell.
Vaporized.
Can I try and get it out?
Yeah, go ahead and make. Well, so first, go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw, or reflex saving throw.
What's
I'm
mine?
continuing through the door
Sure.
cautiously at this point because there's
10.
big
A
spiders.
10?
coming.
Okay. Gibbs. As you go and you try to pry the card out that was used to bypass this electrical trap,
Oh.
you trigger the electrical
Yeah,
trap.
that makes sense.
And unfortunately, you are going to be taking some damage, Gibbs.
That's okay.
Gibbs, you are going to be taking 10 points of electric damage as this jolts you and then goes completely dead. And that you smell plastic as it sizzles and burns.
I had to try once.
Yeah. Might as well. On the other side, Shade, as you step through, you can see off to the left a little utility closet, damaged card reader, but the closet itself is open. And you can see there are hard plastic boxes designed to house different delicate equipment. Although this probably it's been long since emptied. Through this utility closet, you can see there is a grated door. And through this grated door, you can see what looks like 2 feet wide, 3 feet tall, a large hard plastic shell, mostly wrapped around some kind of industrial looking machinery. And along the front of it, you can see in common printed Canosa Horicalcium Refiner.
Oh, that's the thing we need.
You also see on the wall of this space 2 lasers of some kind. You also see several sets of Canosa Station's coveralls, one of which appears to belong to a scientist because you can see their badge pinned to the chest. You also see what looks like cable line. You guys have been using rope and ion tape. This is titanium alloy cable line. You can see it from the glint. There's a med kit mounted to the wall, and there's some kind of a blinking orange beacon. All of this stuff through on the other side of this space. And because it is 9:30,
No!
this is where we're going to step away from.
Damn it!
But you guys all took a very different route to the battle that I had planned. So that was great. I was actually very pleased with that. And you have survived thus far into the Mines of Siren. So thank you for joining us so far for this session of Mosaic Team 5. We'll be back next week. But if you can't wait that long, because it's such a long time, you can join us tomorrow night for D&D at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we are in the middle of a masquerade ball. Very different feelings
New
happening.
goth
Make out with a vampire.
I found a
So-
statue, y'all.
I found
Please,
a new girlfriend.
please stay safe. Until then, we will see you next week. We'll see you.
See you, space boyfriend.